Chapter 472. Although what Song Huawu had said earlier was the truth, her last sentence revealed who she was here to support. Now almost everyone knew that White Fox was not simple. Not only did he know the higher-ups of the Hong Chamber of Commerce, but he also knew the people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Even the people from the Warrior Guild's Law Enforcement Hall could not do anything to him. How could such a person's background be simple? At that moment, Shen Zhengquan finally realized that he had underestimated White Fox and thought that he was just a nobody. How powerful could Shen Jingshuan's classmate be? Now it seemed that he had been wrong. This was a truly ruthless person. He was simply too ruthless. All right, let's continue with the family meeting. Shen Shanha looked at White Fox meaningfully. He naturally understood that White Fox was doing all this to support Shen Jingmao. However, Shen Jingmao's current achievements were too few, and he could not be forced to take the position just because of White Fox's background. If that happened, the members of the Shen family would not be convinced. Although he was the head of the family, he did not have the ability to make the final decision. All right, father, out of these three, who do you think should stay? Shen Zhengquan asked carefully. Stay. Shen Jingbing. Is the person you are waiting for not here yet? Shen Shanha asked. If he still did not speak, Shen Shanha would have no choice but to let him go first. It should be soon. As Shen Jingbing spoke, an old man walked briskly into the meeting hall. At that moment, all the members of the Shen family, including the guests, were stunned. They looked at the newcomer in astonishment, not knowing why he was here. This person was the second great-grandfather of the Shen family, who was in seclusion, Shen Hongjian. Shen Shanha was also a little surprised, wondering why his second uncle would come. However, he hurriedly stood up respectfully. All the members of the Shen family, including those who had been sitting, also stood up and looked at Shen Hongjian respectfully. Second great-grandfather. Shen Jingbing was very happy to see Shen Hongjian. He strode over and said, Second great-grandfather, I knew you would definitely come to support me. Shen Hongjian snorted through his nose, but didn't comment. Behind Shen Hongjian was the disciple from the Shen family. However, he did not dare to stop this person. He did not even dare to ask, because everyone in the Shen family knew that although Shen Shanha was the head of the Shen family, Shen Hongjian was the true authority in the Shen family. Shen Jingbing's words, as well as Shen Hongjian's response, stunned all the Shen family disciples present, including Patriarch Shen Shanha. Wasn't Shen Hongjian no longer involved in the affairs of the Shen family? Why did he suddenly appear in the Shen family's conference hall? Moreover, from what he said, it seemed that he was here to support Shen Jingbing. A smile flashed across Shen Jingxin's mouth. It's here, it's finally here. It's time to make the final decision. Previously, no matter how Shen Zhengquan and Shen Jingtian performed, or how they jumped up and down, in Shen Jingxin's eyes, they were nothing more than clowns. And the second great-grandfather of the Shen family was his trump card, a weapon that could turn the situation around. Second uncle. Even Shen Shanha stood respectfully to the side and greeted him. Shen Shanha, as the head of the family, you are incompetent. As the head of the family, your control over the family is too weak. You didn't even know that you were poisoned. The Shen family is a disgrace in your hands. Shen Hongjian walked over and scolded him harshly. Shen Shanha was stunned, but did not dare to refute. He could only lower his head and mumble. Now he knew that Shen Hongjian had long known that he was poisoned. It was just that he could not solve the problem, so he did not say anything. Second uncle, you are right. Shanha is no longer suitable to sit in the position of the head of the family. Therefore, this time, Shanha plans to choose a young head of the family to gradually take over the position of the head of the Shen family. Shen Shanha said with a sigh, knowing that he was in the wrong. Well, is there anyone who wants to choose? Shen Hongjian asked. Not yet, I'm choosing, Shen Shanha said truthfully. Good. What stage are we at now? Shen Hongjian asked. Second great-grandfather. It's time for me to introduce myself. Shen Jingbing stood up excitedly and said, Second great-grandfather, can I start? Yes, you can start, Shen Hongjian said. At this moment, everyone present was a little confused about the relationship between Shen Hongjian and Shen Jingbing. These two people seemed to have an unknown connection. Shen Jingbing said that he was waiting for someone, but the person he was waiting for was Shen Hongjian. Could it be that the person that Shen Hongjian supported was actually Shen Jingbing? I'm now a stage 6 inner force martial artist. Although it's not as high as big brothers, I'm still young and have a lot of room for improvement. Shen Jingbing said. As for me, because I've been investigating grandfather's illness, I'm afraid that I haven't contributed much to the Shen family. But I have a clear conscience. After I found out that grandfather was sick, I immediately found a way to contact second great-grandfather and ask him to make a decision. Wow! Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that Shen Jingbing had already contacted Shen Hongjian. No wonder Shen Hongjian wanted to support him. I told second great-grandfather about grandfather's situation, and second great-grandfather immediately came out of seclusion to treat grandfather. However, the result shocked me. Grandfather had actually been poisoned. Moreover, it was a very vicious poison, Shen Jingbing said loudly. Although many people already knew about this heavy news, there were also many people who didn't know about it. As soon as it was said, there was a sudden shock. Everyone was talking about who was so vicious as to poison Shen Shanha. I won't say who the person who poisoned grandfather is. You know who it is, Shen Jingbing said firmly. But what I want to say is that I got the news from second great-grandfather as soon as possible and asked him to find a way to prolong grandfather's life, even though we can't detoxify the poison. My parents and I take care of grandfather every day, hoping that he can live a little longer and stabilize the Shen family. We won't let those despicable people get their way. Shen Jingbing's words were filled with righteous indignation. Everyone present was very impressed. It turned out that Shen Jingbing was a very filial son. While others were fighting for power, his family was taking care of Shen Shanha. As for the person who poisoned grandfather according to Shen Jingbing, everyone present could immediately think of Shen Jingquan's family. They were the only family that benefited the most after grandfather Shen collapsed. Although I don't have a nepotism like Shen Jingmao, I can use my sister to find someone to help grandfather detoxify the poison. But I did what I could, so I have a clear conscience, Shen Jingbing said. If it wasn't for Shen Jingxian, Xiaochen wouldn't have bothered to argue with him. But he actually got Shen Jingxian involved. Xiaochen was naturally unhappy. This was his goddess. How could he say it just because he wanted to? What's your name? Are you crazy? You have bad intentions, Xiaochen said coldly. Shen Jingbing hated it when people called him a lunatic. It was an eternal pain in his heart. When he first came up with his name, he didn't think too much about it. His family wanted him to be quiet as ice. But there was nothing wrong with the name itself. But when it was combined with his surname, there was a problem. How am I harboring evil intentions? He could only give up on arguing about being crazy. Instead, he shouted and asked why Xiaochen said he had bad intentions. You found out that grandfather Shen was poisoned, but you didn't tell anyone. If you didn't have bad intentions, what else could it be? You don't have a way, but it doesn't mean that others don't have a way. If you said it, maybe Jing Mao would have already found me and cured grandfather Shen's problem. Moreover, it wouldn't have taken so much effort to invite 2 pharmacists over to help. I could have done it myself. Xiaochen sneered. Do you still dare to say no? No, Shen Jingbing said angrily. Besides, I also thought of a way to buy time for grandfather. Moreover, this poison was done by Shen Jingtian's family. If I said it, I'm afraid they would kill me faster. Previously, Shen Jingbing was only hinting and didn't say who specifically poisoned him. But now, she directly said it, causing Shen Jingquan's expression to instantly turn extremely ugly. He glared at Shen Jingbing, but with Shen Hongjian around, he didn't dare to deny it. Obviously, Shen Hongjian also knew the truth. He could only glare angrily to express his indignation. Moreover, Shen Jingquan also knew that he didn't have a chance. His son Shen Jingtian also didn't have a chance. With Shen Hongjian's appearance, his wishful thinking had already been shattered. Then you can tell Shen Jingmao or Uncle Shen Zhenghao, right? He's definitely innocent. Who knows, he might be able to help you think of a way, Xiaochen asked in return. Then, even second great-grandfather didn't have a way. How would I know he would have a way? It's already very impressive that I could think of buying time for him. Besides, delaying time will delay your treatment. Isn't it still not too late? This is also my credit, Shen Jingbing said angrily. Is that so? That old fart doesn't have a way. But others don't have a way? Xiao Chen said coldly. Xiao Chen's words directly stunned the Shen family. He actually dared to say that Shen Hongjian was an old fart? This person was too awesome, wasn't he? Although they didn't know Shen Hongjian's strength, before he went into seclusion, he was already at the peak of stage 10 inner force. Now his strength should be even higher. That white fox actually dared to say that he was an old fart. Was he courting death? However, to everyone's surprise, Shen Hongjian didn't refute it, nor did he make a move. Instead, he still stood at the side. No one knew what he was thinking. At this moment, Xiao Chen continued speaking. He didn't care that Shen Jingbing was dumbfounded. He directly said, "Moreover, do you think I don't know? Your so-called delaying is just another type of poison in Grandpa Shen's body, causing the two poisons to entangle with each other. Thus, Grandpa Shen will die a little slower. The reason you're doing this is just to delay time. Then you'll serve him day and night, making people think that your family is filial. Then, you'll pass the position of heir to the Shen family to you. Am I right?" Chapter 473. You're slandering me. Shen Jingbing was so angry that his entire body was trembling. Xiao Chen's words had hit his sore spot, and he immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. He turned to look at Shen Hongjian and said, "Second great-grandfather, please seek justice for me. Also, this white fox has been disrespectful to you. Please chase him out. Chase him out of the Shen family. He's not slandering me. Isn't what he said the truth?" Shen Hongjian said lightly, "You poisoned him. Although it delayed him, it increased the difficulty of treatment." "That's right. Besides, didn't you think so too? You wanted to delay Shen Shanha's illness for a few days at all costs. To delay his death by a few days, so that you could pretend to be filial, and let him pass his position to you? Huh?" Shen Jingbing stared blankly at Shen Hongjian. He did not understand why his second great-grandfather had suddenly gone crazy. Didn't he not object when he asked him to support him? If he did not deny the existence of such an expert, why would he change his mind at the last minute? "Hello, Clayden, we meet again. Your family is really messy." Xiao Chen waved at Shen Hongjian. "You old fart. No wonder you didn't dare to tell me you were from the Shen family when I asked you where the Shen family was. So this is the reason." Shen Hongjian was a little embarrassed. He was indeed Clayden, and Clayden was just a code name he came up with for the warrior guild. He had studied abroad when he was young, and his name was similar to the main character in Fortress Besieged. Even their experiences were similar. He was a martial arts fanatic. How was it studying abroad? He just wanted to see what foreign martial artists were like. He was busy practicing martial arts all day long, and did not study at all. In the end, he only came back with a fake diploma. As a result, he gave himself the name Clayden. And that was how he came to be. Cough cough. Young friend, you and I are about the same. If you call me an old fart again, I won't be polite to you. Shen Hongjian coughed twice and said. Shen Jingbing was dumbfounded. He had completely turned into a lunatic. He widened his eyes and pointed at the white fox in disbelief. You know each other? Impossible. This is impossible. I was supposed to win. You bastard. If you didn't come and ruin things, I would be the head of the Shen family. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Why ya. Extreme joy begets sorrow. He had always felt that he was the biggest winner, but now, he suddenly fell from the sky to the mortal world. This feeling of being on a roller coaster made him go crazy. Previously, regardless of whether Shen Shanha's illness was cured or not, as long as Shen Hongjian stood up for him when the time came, everything would be fleeting. No matter how powerful Shen Zhengquan was, he would still have to listen to Shen Hongjian. Because his strength was there, his identity was there. No matter how much Shen Zhengquan jumped, it was all for naught. But how could he not have foreseen the white fox accident? Previously, when he saw the white fox make Shen Jingquan's family suffer a setback, he was quite happy. It didn't take much effort to suppress the first branch, But now the other party was definitely coming to deal with him. Alright, in the end, this young master is still the Shen family's matter. It's not good for an outsider like me to participate. It's just that if the matter with Jingmao isn't resolved, I might have to stay in Lan City for a period of time. It might delay some other matters. Xiao Chun had a you-know-what-I-mean expression on his face. Shen Hongjian was a little speechless. But to be honest, whichever of the younger generation of the Shen family became the young master had little to do with him. He wasn't keen on power. Previously, when Shen Jingbing looked for him, he naturally knew what Shen Jingbing was thinking. However, he felt that Shen Jingbing was quite smart. He was just a little sinister, but at least he wasn't as bad as the first branch. Being sinister was different from being bad. Shen Jingquan's poisoning was already devoid of conscience. But now, with the White Fox's involvement, Shen Hongjian could no longer support Shen Jingbing. He could only say, I think that Shen Jinghao's son, Shen Jingmao, has a noble character and is young and promising. At the Righteous and Demonic Summit in Songning, even though his strength is low, he didn't back down. He's a good seedling, and even helped me search for medicinal herbs from the White Fox. His filial piety is commendable. Shen Shanha, why don't we let him be the young master? Sure. How could Shen Shanha dare to say no? Shen Hongjian had already made it so clear that he couldn't refute it even if he wanted to. Moreover, the person he liked was Shen Jingmao. Shen Jingtian was dumbfounded. He didn't know that second great-grandfather actually knew the White Fox. Then wouldn't his previous bragging be exposed in an instant? At that time, would second great-grandfather believe him, or the White Fox? It went without saying. Since the White Fox dared to call Shen Hongjian an old fart, one could imagine how good their relationship was. Moreover, even Shen Hongjian said that their strength was about the same. Then, what level of expert was this White Fox? Could it be that he was also a martial artist level 10 great perfection? Since that's the case, I hereby announce that Shen Jingmao is the young master of the Shen family. Shen Shanha don't retire yet. Assist him for a few years, and let him inherit the family business smoothly. Shen Hongjian said. If anyone is dissatisfied, you can tell me. All right. Shen Shanha hurriedly nodded. Dissatisfied? Who would dare to be dissatisfied? Hearing Shen Hongjian's words, be it Shen Zhengquan or Shen Jingxin, they both shrunk their necks. If they were dissatisfied, they would be courting death. Shen Hongjian was the true decision-maker of the Shen family. Even if he killed a descendant of the Shen family, there would be no one to reason with. These ancient martial arts clans all retain the style of the clan patriarchal system. Even if they killed their descendants, the Martial Arts Guild and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would not find trouble with them. That was only an internal matter. No matter how much trouble they caused, as long as they did not interfere with other clans and sects, it would not matter. Well, Clayton, you look quite old, but you're not muddle-headed. All right, I'll be free after this matter is settled, Xiao Chen said with a smile. Shen Hongjian snorted coldly, clearly displeased with Xiao Chen's shameless behavior. He said, all right, children of the Shen family, go do what you need to do. From today onwards, the first branch, Shen Zhengquan, and his family are chased out of the Shen family, and are not allowed to return. Although the second branch, Shen Jingxin, and his family are not in the wrong. I'll give you a chance to turn over a new leaf. You must live up to your name, Shen Jingxin. Yes, second grandpa, I understand. Shen Jingxin knew that the matter had been settled. Their family had no chance at all, so he did not think too much about it. He tugged at the slightly deranged Shen Jingbing and said, all right, don't go crazy. If you don't want to die, quickly come back and sit down. Oh, Shen Jingbing returned to her seat in a daze. She lowered her head. No one knew what she was thinking, but it was obvious that she was disheartened. White Fox, are you satisfied this time? If you are, when the time comes, you must work hard. Don't let me down. Shen Hongjian looked at Xiao Chun and said, don't worry. Everything is fine here. I'll go back and prepare as soon as possible. Xiao Chun said, Shen Hongjian nodded and turned to leave the conference hall. No one knew what they were talking about or what kind of riddles they were playing, but no one dared to ask. All right, the Shen family's conference is over. Shen Jingmao, come to my room. I have some family matters to discuss with you. Everyone else, go back to your own business. Shin Jingquan, you may leave, Shin Shanha said. Shin Jingqiuan's eyes were filled with indignation. He pulled Shin Jingtian and Tan Mue and quickly left the conference hall. Before he left, he glanced at White Fox. No one knew what he was thinking. Shin Jingtian did the same. She glanced at the people in the room, lowered her head, and left with her father. However, if Xiao Chun said that the traitors of this family should be killed directly, what was the point of keeping them alive? Regardless, this was Clayton's family matter. It was not appropriate for him to interfere further. If he said to let them go, then so be it. This time, everyone in the Shin family knew that the Shin family's future depended on the family. Actually, these people already knew that White Fox was a very powerful person. Not only did he know the people from the Hong Chamber of Commerce, he also knew the people from the Martial Artists Guild's Law Enforcement Hall. Even the people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau had to give him face. Just this alone was enough for Shin Jingmao to gain a foothold. Previously, Shin Jingquan and Shin Jingxin had staked everything on one throw. Even if they knew about it, they did not want to give up. However, the others knew that Shin Jingmao was not to be trifled with. However, if one were to say that they were surprised, what followed was shock. The pillar of the Shin family, Shin Hongjian, actually knew White Fox. Moreover, they were on good terms. They were of the same generation. How could they compete with Shin Jingmao? This brother-in-law of his was amazing. Many young girls from the side branches of the Shin family cast envious gazes at Shin Jingxian. However, they could not help it. They were not as beautiful as Shin Jingxian. The boyfriend of a goddess was indeed different. At this moment, Shen Jingshuan's heart was filled with sweetness. This family meeting was really full of ups and downs. Her heart was hanging in suspense one moment and relaxing the next. However, what made her happy was that in the end, Shen Jingmao still won. All of this was thanks to Xiao Chun. Thinking of this, Shen Jingxian looked at Xiao Chun with eyes full of love. After that time, this was the first time she took the initiative to do it with Xiao Chun. Sometimes, the reason why women fell in love was very strange. Just admiration alone could make them unable to extricate themselves. The members of the Shin family began to leave. However, before Xiao Chun walked out, no one dared to pass him. Suddenly, he felt that something was wrong with Shin Jingxian, who was beside him. Xiao Chun turned his head and looked. However, he discovered that Shin Jingshuan's face was red. There was a hint of seduction in her eyes, and her breathing was a little rushed. This made Xiao Chun slightly stunned. Jingxian, what's wrong? Xiao Chun asked. Shin Jingxian took the initiative to hold Xiao Chun's arm. Previously, when she was in the Shin family, she did not dare to publicly act so intimately. However, she was not afraid now. Not only was her grandfather personally betrothed her to Xiao Chun, but her younger brother, Shen Jingmao, was already the young master of the family. Of course, the higher-level reason was that her man was White Fox. Now no one dared to say anything bad about White Fox. Go to your room, Shin Jingxian said softly. I miss you. Chapter 474. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat. He tightened his grip on Shin Jingshuan's hand and quickened his pace. Although it was daytime, Xiao Chen had been waiting for this moment for too long. Shin Jinghao smiled as he watched his daughter and White Fox leave. He felt that every step he took now was awesome. All he needed was a few lightning bolts by his side. Just thinking about it made him feel good. His son was the young master of the family, Shin Jingmao. His son-in-law was White Fox, who was on the same level as his second grandfather. Now when the Shen family saw Shin Jinghao, those of the same generation would respectfully call him Brother Hao, while the younger generation would call him Uncle Hao, which made him feel good. Xiao Chun and Shin Jingxian quickly returned to the guest room and closed the door. Goddess Shin couldn't wait to hug Xiao Chen. Her body was almost pressed against Xiao Chen's body. Her breathing was a little rushed. She closed her eyes and exhaled. Kiss me. Shin Jingxian didn't seem to be satisfied with having her lips sealed by Xiao Chen. She couldn't wait to tear off the clothes on her body. However, at this time, there was a knock on the door. This made Xiao Chun and Shin Jingxian a little unhappy. Who is it? Knocking at the door at this time. Who is it? Xiao Chun released Shen Jingxian and asked angrily as he put on his mask. Sis, brother-in-law, it's me. Shen Jingmao's weak voice came from outside the door. He didn't understand why White Fox was so angry. Xiao Chun was a little speechless. It was his brother-in-law. He could only walk over and open the door. Shen Jingmao walked in and saw his sister's red face and untidy clothes, as well as the angry White Fox. He finally understood what had happened. Immediately, Shen Jingmao felt a little apologetic. His face was full of awkwardness. That, sister brother-in-law, I'm sorry. Did I come at a bad time? Nothing. Jingmao, what's wrong? Shen Jingxian didn't know what to say. But how could she say it to her brother? Was he supposed to let him out? That would be too embarrassing. Therefore, Shen Jingxian tried hard to calm herself down. Grandpa told me something about the family. He asked me to stay in the family and slowly take over the family's affairs. Dad will also stay to assist me. As for Songning, Shen Jingmao hesitated for a moment. Sister, you're the only one left. Oh, that's not a big deal. Shen Jingxian didn't mind. I'll move to Minjing's house and live with Minjing. You don't have to worry about me. That way she could see Xiao Chun every day. For Shen Jingxian, it was very happy. Her brother and father had serious things to do. How could she ask for anything else? Now that her father and brother had gotten what they wanted, she couldn't hold them back. Well, then I'll go out first. I won't disturb you. Shen Jingmao stuck out his tongue and scratched his head awkwardly. He quickly left the room. Shen Jingxian blushed and glared at Shen Jingmao. She turned around and hung her head on Xiao Chun. Go to bed. Hongzhu didn't leave immediately with Ma Yuqian and Tan Muyo. Instead, they got into a commercial car in the parking lot of the Shen family. Hongzhu also needed to contact them and send them back to the headquarters. She still had things to do in Songning City, so she naturally couldn't go back with them. While she was waiting for the call, Hongzhu suddenly frowned and said to Hong Yingwei, "Wait for me. I have something to do. I'll be back soon." Hongzhu quickly opened the door and got out of the car. She quickly ran to the inner courtyard of the Shen family's mansion. Most of the disciples of the Shen family knew Hongzhu. She had already broken in once and taken away Ma Yuqian and Tan Muyo. Who would dare to stop such a ruthless person? Therefore they pretended not to see her. Who knew who Hongzhu would come and take back again? Hongzhu finally arrived at the inner courtyard of the Shen family's courtyard. She stopped in front of the door of Xiao Chen's guest room. Hongzhu's face suddenly revealed an excited expression. Without thinking, she impatiently kicked the door and broke in. She had already missed several opportunities with a naturally charming woman. If she ran away empty-handed this time, she would really die of depression. Shen Jingxian was shocked. At this moment, she was straddling Xiao Chen's body. In fact, she had just tried this action. Today's arousal had made her no longer satisfied with being conquered by Xiao Chun. Instead, she had turned the tables and started to conquer Xiao Chun. However, she had never expected that someone would actually dare to break in the Shen family's door. Furthermore, it was after the White Fox had displayed his invincible might, and Shen Jingmao had become the young master. Was this person crazy? Wasn't she afraid of death? Xiao Chun was also scared out of his wits. He turned his head to look in the direction of the door, and was extremely stunned. Why was it Hongzhu? Hongzhu was also a little dumbfounded. She looked at Shen Jingxian, who was completely naked on Xiao Chen's body. She was a little at a loss and could only stare at them in a daze. I say, Hongzhu, can you close the door first? If someone comes in later, we'll be screwed. Xiao Chun smiled bitterly and said somewhat helplessly, if you have something to talk to me about, you can just give me a call. There's no need to barge into someone's room, right? Xiao Chun. You. Hongzhu stammered, unable to speak. Although she was usually bold and often made fun of Xiao Chun, she was still a little virgin. Now that she saw this scene, she did not know what to do. Hongzhu, if there's anything, can we talk about it later? You see, we haven't finished yet. Xiao Chun did not know whether to laugh or cry. Even if we have a good relationship and you've tried to seduce me time and time again, there's no need to do this, right? Hongzhu stomped her feet in anger and was about to leave when she suddenly thought of something. She hurriedly ran over and yanked Shen Jingxian off Xiao Chen's body. Fuck. You little she-devil. What are you trying to do? Xiao Chun cried out in pain and yanked Shen Jingxian off his body. Was she trying to end his family line? Hong Zhu saw something that he should not have seen in the next moment. However, he was no longer as nervous as before. Instead, he carefully looked at it and said with a look of disdain, "So small." Puffed. Xiao Chun wanted to die. Even if this Hong Zhu was a little she-devil, she shouldn't be so shameless, right? Moreover, she was even attacking him. This made him very angry. "Didn't you scare me?" "Luckily I was scared. Otherwise I would have died if you had dragged Jingxian away like that." Alright, put on your clothes first." "You can't do that. I have something important to tell you," Hong Zhu said with a frown. I say little Hong Zhu, can you wait a moment? We're done. You said that I'm not going up or down right now. You're a bit of a scam." Xiao Chun had already been seen naked, so he no longer tried to hide, and was a little depressed. Shen Jingxian also looked at Hong Zhu with some hidden bitterness. Today, she did not know why, but she was especially interested. But now, she had no choice but to stop. "I already said that you can't do that. Why didn't you listen? Hurry up and put on your clothes," Hong Zhu said. "I say, little Hong Zhu, you can control heaven and earth. You can control the Hong Chamber of Commerce, but you're also interfering in this matter." Xiao Chun was suddenly a little speechless. How do I say this? "If you continue to do that with her, you'll kill her," Hong Zhu said. Xiao Chun was slightly surprised. "Kill her? What do you mean?" Shen Jingxian also widened her eyes, looking at Hong Zhu strangely. Why would Xiao Chun kill her? Why would Hong Zhu say that? Could it be that Hong Zhu liked Xiao Chun and was jealous of her, so he deliberately said that? Thinking about it, it was also possible. A girl standing in front of a naked Xiao Chun. Not only did she not leave, but she was even talking. The more Shen Jingxian thought about it, the more likely it was. Her physique is called innate charming bones. Among us devil cultivators, this is a very rare physique, do you know? Shen Jingxian said. Oh, Xiao Chun was surprised. Innate charming bones? Shen Jingxian blushed. What kind of lousy name was that? To put it nicely, it was called innate charming bones. But to put it bluntly, wasn't it just coquettish? She was a little annoyed and glared at Hong Zhu. Don't always say bad things about others, it's not good. Xiao Chun, do you think I would lie to you? Hong Zhu said. Xiao Chun frowned slightly. That's right. Hong Zhu shouldn't lie to him. And looking at her appearance, it didn't seem like she was joking at all. Xiao Chun also became serious, saying, Hong Zhu, what's going on? What is innate charming bones? This kind of physique, what's wrong with it? Women with innate charming bones all have short lives, Hong Zhu said. There is a saying, beautiful women have a short life. This is exactly what it means. You mean your little sister? Xiao Chun asked. Scram! Hong Zhu glared at Xiao Chun. If you talk nonsense again, I'll kick you to death. Oh, Xiao Chun shrunk his legs. If a woman with innate charming bones doesn't know how to cultivate, when they have intercourse with another, they will leak the yin yuan in their body. After a long time, when the yin yuan is exhausted, that person will not be far from death. Hong Zhu said, and Shen Jingxian has this kind of physique. If you want her to die, you can continue. But once or twice shouldn't have much of an effect, right? Xiao Chun was also shocked, but he still asked. Of course it wouldn't affect an ordinary person. But with you, I don't know what kind of evil mental cultivation method you cultivate. But when she does it with you, I can feel her yin yuan rapidly entering your body and being devoured by you. Hong Zhu said word by word. If I hadn't discovered it in time, the two of you wouldn't have done it more than 10 times, and she would have died. Really? Xiao Chun was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. Is there any meaning in lying to you? Hong Zhu said. So for her future, Xiao Chun, you can't be too selfish. Chapter 475. What do you mean? Xiao Chun asked with a frown. I will take her back to the sect and let her cultivate our sect's mantra. Hong Zhu continued. And if she can control her yin yuan to not leak at all times, there won't be any problems in the future. Xiao Chun was dumbfounded by Hong Zhu's sudden words. Hong Zhu wanted to take Shen Jingxian away? How could he be willing? But his intuition told him that Hong Zhu couldn't be deceiving him, because there was no meaning to it. If Hong Zhu said that he liked him and wanted to drive him away, then there were plenty of people he wanted to drive away. Most likely, the first one he would drive away would be Yi Xiaoya or Lu Shuangshuang. He wouldn't beat around the bush and make up such a reason to trick him. Xiao Chun, I'm doing this for your own good, Hong Zhu said. You and I are already so familiar with each other, so I won't say anything else. Although I have my own selfish motives in finding a naturally bewitching woman and taking Shen Jingxian away, I really didn't lie to you. If I don't take her away, even if you no longer have any relationship with her, she will still suffer a tragic fate. After listening to Hong Zhu's words, Xiao Chen immediately fell silent. In truth, he was somewhat reluctant to part with Shen Jingxian. At most, today was their second time, but they still hadn't completed it. Moreover, it wasn't that Xiao Chen was infatuated with this matter, but that he really didn't want to be separated from Goddess Shen. When they were together, even if they didn't do anything, Xiao Chen would still be very happy. But now, from Hong Zhu's words, if he didn't agree to let Shen Jingxian leave, Shen Jingxian would probably run into problems. After a long while, Xiao Chen asked, Hong Zhu, how did you discover that Jingxian is naturally bewitching? Does Jingxian often stay in your villa? Hong Zhu asked in response. Yes. Xiao Chen nodded, not understanding why Hong Zhu had suddenly changed the subject. Then there's no mistake. Hong Zhu nodded. The person I've been looking for should be her. A few days ago, were you having sex in the wild not far from an agricultural shop near the villa district? Xiao Chen shot a glare at Hong Zhu, then thought for a moment, and realized that it was indeed the case. He couldn't help but smile bitterly and nod. How did you know? When a woman with an innately seductive physique becomes aroused, I can feel the Yin essence leaking out. Hong Zhu said. However, I reckon that you used some kind of illusion to trap me. I went around looking for you several times, but I still couldn't find you. Xiao Chen had indeed set up an illusion at that time, and he did not deny it after hearing it. Also, on the night of the Righteous and Devil Summit in Songning, did you also fall in love with him? It should be in the villa. As Hong Zhu spoke up to this point, he suddenly felt that something was wrong and looked at Xiao Chen in astonishment. Didn't you help me look after the pharmacy that day? Then Jingxian and Xiao Chen stared blankly for a moment. Although he didn't believe that Shen Jingxian would do anything with other people behind his back, he still had some doubts. Could it be that there were other women with an innately seductive physique in the vicinity of the villa district? However, he heard Shen Jingxian say somewhat embarrassedly, that day, Xiao Chen displayed his invincible might at the summit. At night, when I was taking a bath and scrubbing my body, I started to miss him a little. No wonder. Hong Zhu suddenly nodded. Maybe you were just thinking about it, and you calmed down after taking a bath. When I told you I was going, I couldn't feel it anymore. Then, Hong Zhu, if I go back with you, will I be unable to see Xiao Chen in the future? Shen Jingxian asked somewhat worriedly. Of course not. If we meet, Xiao Chen can go to the sect at any time. It's just that you haven't cultivated to a certain level, so you can't do that with him again. Otherwise, it will be detrimental to your cultivation and your body, Hong Zhu said. Then, Xiao Chen, what do you think? Shen Jingxian looked at Xiao Chen. She couldn't make up her mind, so she could only ask Xiao Chen to make a decision. I think that Hong Zhu can't lie to us, so for your own good, I can endure it, and you can go and cultivate. It will also be beneficial, we can progress together. Xiao Chen said. Shen Jingxian nodded. I'll listen to you. Xiao Chen took a deep breath and nodded. Although he was somewhat reluctant, he wasn't a selfish person. Moreover, it wasn't like Goddess Shen wouldn't come back. He could go and see her at any time. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen said, Okay, Hong Zhu, then you can take her back. But you must guarantee her freedom. I can't see her when I want to. That won't happen, Hong Zhu said. At the very least, my words in the sect still have some power. Don't forget, I am from the Hong Chamber of Commerce. Then, you go out first. We need to put on our clothes. Xiao Chen said somewhat awkwardly. He still hadn't put on his clothes. Okay, then I'll go out and wait for you. Hong Zhu very readily nodded. left the room, and closed the door for Xiaochen. Shen Jingxian hugged Xiaochen tightly, and Xiaochen could feel her reluctance to part, so he also hugged her back. Jingxian, when you finish cultivating, we can still see each other often. Shen Jingxian nodded, but she still had some doubts. Xiaochen, that Hangzhu, she really won't lie? I don't think so, Xiaochen said with certainty. I know this Hangzhu person. We've always had a good relationship. Back then, when your father bought the medicinal ingredients for Shen Hongjian, he got them from her. And we've also worked together many times. Oh, Shen Jingxian nodded, a little silent. In fact, she could also see that Hangzhu shouldn't be lying. Her innate charm should be real. In fact, Shen Jingxian had also discovered that she was especially easily moved. She didn't know why before, but now it was most likely because of this reason. Let's get dressed and go out. Hangzhu is still waiting for us. I reckon he'll have to talk to Uncle Shen and the others about this in a while. Xiaochen said. Then you don't want to? Shen Jingxian suddenly asked. If you want to, then bear with it. Compared to your life, this is nothing. Xiaochen shook his head. Let me help you. Shen Jingxian hesitated for a moment, then lowered her head and gently turned around. And then she didn't tell the reader what had happened. Hangzhu waited outside for half an hour, about to explode with anger. What were these two doing again? Sensing that Shen Jingxian seemed to have become aroused again, Hangzhu wanted nothing more than to kick the door in. How could this Xiaochen be like this? Did he not care about Shen Jingshuan's life or death? He only knew how to enjoy himself. However, after giving it some thought, Hangzhu still endured it. It wasn't good for him to disturb the couple, so he could only endure it. Finally, the door opened and Xiaochen and Shen Jingxian walked out hand in hand. Xiaochen, did you two do that again? Hangzhu asked with a dark face. No. Xiaochen hurriedly shook his head. Since you've already said so, how could I dare to do that? You're lying, Hangzhu said. I felt it all. Saying so, he looked at Shen Jingxian. Really didn't. Shen Jingshuan's mouth was a little numb. She hadn't recovered yet, so the moment she opened her mouth, she gave herself away. Hangzhu was also taken aback. He looked at Shen Jingxian meaningfully, a strange smile on his face. All right, let's just say you didn't. But Shen Jingxian, aren't you the goddess of the school? It's really hard to imagine. Shen Jingxian blushed slightly. In fact, she herself also found it a little hard to imagine that she would do such a thing. But when she really did it, it seemed very natural. And she didn't feel any discomfort. She liked Xiaochen more and more. In her opinion, this was what she should do. And it wasn't a big deal. If Tang Tang could do it, why couldn't she? You've investigated Jingxian? Xiaochen asked. Hangzhu waved the phone in his hand and said, Of course, when the sect accepts a disciple, I naturally have to investigate. If Hangzhu wanted to investigate someone, he could directly mobilize the power of the Honging group, and it would be very easy to find them. Moreover, he had investigated Shen Jingxian before, and knew that Xiaochen had been pursuing Shen Jingxian. Let's go. We'll go see Jingshuan's father now and tell him about this matter. Although Xiaochen had already agreed, in his opinion, it was reasonable for him to inform Shen Jinghao first. Do you know where Uncle Shen Jinghao and Shen Jingmao are? Xiaochen randomly grabbed a disciple of the Shen family and asked. Replying to great hero White Fox, Uncle Hao and the young patriarch are in the old patriarch's villa. The disciple hurriedly replied respectfully. Xiaochen nodded, and the three of them walked toward Shen Shanha's villa. Sure enough, they saw Shen Shanha, Shen Jinghao, and Shen Jingmao sitting on the sofa discussing something. Seeing White Fox arrive, Shen Shanha immediately stood up. Although White Fox was Shen Jingshuan's man, he didn't dare to be careless. This was someone who sat on the same level as Shen Hongjian, not to mention the person who saved his life. When Shen Jinghao and Shen Jingmao saw Shen Shanha stand up, they quickly followed suit and said, White Fox, you're here. What's the matter? Oh, Miss Hong is here too. When Shen Shanha saw Hangzhu, he immediately said respectfully, May I know why Miss Hong is here? It's like this. Xiaochen pondered for a moment, then told them about Shen Jingshuan's matter. Everyone here was Shen Jingshuan's closest people, so there was no need to hide it. As for the other members of the Shen family, Xiao Chen didn't intend to tell them the truth. After all, if news of her natural charm were to spread, people might think of her as a slut or something. However, the people here certainly wouldn't. When Xiao Chen finished speaking, these people were very surprised. Shen Shanha's eyes widened. That is to say, Jing Xian has become an expert? With this kind of physique, becoming a martial master shouldn't be a problem. Hong Zhu said. It's just a matter of time. Martial master. Shen Shanha sucked in a breath of cold air. If the Shen family really produced a martial master, then the Shen family's status would rise to another level in the future. Even his second uncle, Shen Hongjian, had not succeeded in advancing. He was only a half-step martial master, only slightly more powerful than someone at the peak of the 10th stage of inner force. Chapter 476. Jing Xian, I respect your and White Fox's intentions. Shen Shanha said. Since that's the case, this is for your own good. I have no objections at all. And father is right. Shen Jinghao also nodded and said. I also have no objections. Shen Jingmao also had no objections. To be honest, he was currently in the Shen family, and could only be said to be at the stage of learning and internship. He still wouldn't casually voice his opinion. After the matter was settled, Hong Zhu was naturally anxious to bring Shen Jingxian back to the sect, because she also had to return to the Hong Chamber of Commerce headquarters to handle some matters. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, did not want to part with Shen Jingxian so soon. After all, the two of them were deeply in love, and it hadn't been long since they got together, and they were just about to be intimate. Hong Zhu also had no choice but to remind Xiao Chen not to cross the line, and also allow Xiao Chen and Shen Jingxian to be intimate for a few more days. However, a single email had destroyed all of Xiao Chen's plans. There are changes in the Xiao family. Xiao Yuanshan is critically ill, the Xiao family's business has been swindled, and the entire Xiao family is in danger. Take care. The email should have been sent by that person from before. He had already repeatedly reminded him of some things. This person obviously knew his identity, but what was his identity? Why would he help him? Xiao Chen felt a little strange. This person had used such a method to contact him, and it was obvious that he did not want to expose his identity. This meant that this person should be someone he knew, but people he knew and had a good relationship with would more or less know some of his abilities. Xiao Chen took a deep breath, and his mood became somewhat heavy. If his guess was correct, this person had always been helping him and providing accurate information. Then, the Xiao family was a family that made Xiao Chen a little disappointed. However, after getting in touch with his second uncle, Xiao Chen also knew that the Xiao family had their own difficulties. The Chung family was powerful while the Xiao family was weak. It was reasonable for them to compromise. After leaving the Xiao family, Xiao Chen had seen too many of the children of aristocratic families acting against their will, especially within the Shen family. It was simply a big scuffle. The infighting and scheming had lost all humanity. For the position of the head of the family, they could even murder the current head of the family, who was their father. It was really an eye-opener for Xiao Chen. In comparison, the Xiao family was much better. They cared for each other and were very loving. Even if his sister Xiao Xiao was angry at him, Xiao Chen didn't blame her. He was just a little disappointed. Who asked him to be a loser? Which younger sister would want her brother to be a good-for-nothing who was scolded by others all day long? With the reputation of being a good-for-nothing sister, it would be strange if she was in a good mood. Therefore, when he saw that the Xiao family was in trouble, he had a strong sense of belonging and guilt in his heart. Yes, he was now unhindered in Songning, and he even came to Lan City to call the wind and summon the rain to help Jing Xian solve the problem of her family. However, he had neglected his own family. For such a long time, Xiao Chen had almost never paid attention to the Xiao family. Even he didn't know why. Perhaps he didn't want to pay attention to it. But when he did, his mood became very heavy. Deep in his heart, there was still an obsession. That was to return to the Xiao family. But he couldn't go back. At least, He absolutely couldn't go back before he found the mastermind who framed him and his father. As Xiao Chen's vision broadened, Xiao Chen increasingly felt that the Cheng family wasn't the ultimate mastermind behind the scenes. His opponents and enemies were getting higher and higher, from Chen Jinping and Chao Yuliang to Li Shanning, and then Leng Youxiang, Xiao Enz, and Yang Jianan. However, even they, who didn't put the Cheng family in their eyes, couldn't manipulate the trial mission of the Warrior Guild. In other words, there was definitely an expert behind the Cheng family. This also forced Xiao Chen to postpone his return to the Xiao family. However, everything changed because of this text message. However, he must return to the Xiao family. How and what identity he would use was still to be considered. At present, the best identity was the White Fox. It wouldn't expose Xiao Chen, and it wouldn't cause too much trouble. However, why would the White Fox help the Xiao family? Just because Xiao Chen claimed to be the White Fox's follower? It didn't seem to be enough for the White Fox to run back so desperately, right? However, this reason was somewhat reasonable. Shen Jingxian took a bath. She only wrapped a thin bath towel around her body. She didn't wear her pajamas either. She walked over and gently leaned on Xiao Chen. She wanted to be intimate with him again. Even if she couldn't do that, there were other ways to replace it. However, in the next moment, Shen Jingxian realized that Xiao Chen did not seem to be in high spirits. Even when she arrived, he did not have any special reaction. His brows were still tightly furrowed, and no one knew what he was thinking. Xiao Chen, what's wrong? Is it because you're unhappy that I'm leaving? Shen Jingxian gently hugged Xiao Chen's neck and leaned on him. If you don't want me to go, I won't go. Of course not. Xiao Chen shook his head. How could I be so selfish? I'm leaving because of something else. Take a look at this email. As he said this, Xiao Chen handed the phone to Shen Jingxian. Shen Jingxian took it and looked at it. Her expression changed. Really? I don't know. But this person has sent me messages more than once. I think it should be true. Xiao Chen said. Jingxian, no matter what, I have to go back. The Xiao family is my home. I understand. Shen Jingxian nodded and said, then go back quickly. I'll be fine. When the time comes, you can still go to the sect to find me, right? In the future, I'll also become a martial artist, or even a martial master. My lifespan will be extended, and we'll have a lot more time together. And then I'll leave now. Xiao Chen stood up and said, Jingxian, if anything happens, remember to call me. I'll rush over as soon as possible. Shen Jingxian smiled and said, treat Minjing better. She is your fiancée. I know. Xiao Chen didn't refuse. He knew that Shen Jingxian had always felt guilty about Cheng Minjing. In fact, wasn't Xiao Chen the same? What he felt guilty about was not the present, but the past. The eldest miss was actually a very good girl. Only by getting close to her would one discover her kindness and kindness. Therefore, Xiao Chen was trying his best to make it up to her. Perhaps only when the eldest miss ordered him around could Xiao Chen accept it without any resentment. If it were someone else, Xiao Chen would have turned and left long ago. This was a girl who filled Xiao Chen with very complicated feelings, his ex-fiancée. After informing Hongzhu was also very surprised. She immediately called Tai Muching and asked about what happened in Songning City. After a while, Hongzhu ended the call and said to Xiao Chen, that's right. The Warriors Market has also received news that the Xiao family was cheated by a few foreign businessmen from Japan recommended by the Sun family. They lost everything, and even some of the Xiao family's properties were used to pay off their debts. And your grandfather, Xiao Yuanshan, fell sick after hearing this news. I heard that he's on the verge of death. Medicine Master Sun went to see him and said that he can't be saved. Medicine Master Sun is *T. Xiao Chen snorted coldly. I'll kill him sooner or later. It seems that the Sun family planned this. They should have been exterminated the last time. Hongzhu suddenly realized that Xiao Chen was quite handsome when he was domineering. Previously, when he saw him being evasive in front of Hongzhu, he thought that it was because of his submissive personality. If you want to kill him, I'll just give him a call, and he'll be dead. After all, he's a member of our Hong Chamber of Commerce. Hongzhu said. But for now, you should go to the Xiao family and take a look. If there's anything you need my help with, just let me know. Xiaochen nodded. Although he was a little anxious, he wasn't afraid. Things could be solved eventually. Even if his grandfather was critically ill, as long as he wasn't dead, he had a way. He couldn't treat Jingshuan's grandfather and let something happen to his own grandfather, right? Although they didn't know why White Fox was in such a hurry to return, the members of the Shen family didn't dare to ask. Now, Shen Jingmao's faction was like the sun at high noon. Not to mention White Fox. Even Shen Jingxian was about to enter the demonic sect and become a core disciple. It was said that it wouldn't be a problem for her to become a martial master. Who would dare to disrespect Shen Jinghao's family in the future? As for the former 4 young masters of Lan City, their 4th father was done for, and the 4 young masters have become a joke. The current number 1 young master of Lan City was none other than Shen Jingmao. After hugging Shen Jingxian, Xiaochen reluctantly let go of her and said, "Take care. You too." Shen Jingxian nodded. "Hey, don't be so affectionate. It's not like we're parting by life and death." Hongzhu teased. "Little Hongzhu, let's hug too?" Xiaochen asked with a smile. "Sure. Come on." Hongzhu opened his arms. "Forget it." Xiaochen felt that if he hugged her, he might end up in trouble. "Coward." Hongzhu chuckled softly as he watched Xiaochen get into the car and quickly leave the Shen family's mansion. "Hongzhu, you like Xiaochen too?" Shen Jingxian waited until Xiaochen's car was out of sight before she turned her head and asked. "Ah." Hongzhu was taken aback by Shen Jingshuan's question. Then he smiled and said, "I like him." "I guessed it right away." Shen Jingxian did not say anything else, nor did she show any displeasure. She only said, "No wonder you always help him. Then, he didn't wear anything today, and you stayed in the room for so long." "Hee, I'm just kidding." Hongzhu laughed. "At most, it's just for fun. But you don't have to worry. My position in the Hong Chamber of Commerce is very special. I can't marry anyone. The upper echelons of the Hong Chamber of Commerce do not allow outsiders to appear. I heard that there used to be an honorary president?" In truth, Shen Jingxian did not really care about Xiaochen's relationships with women. She was not a jealous person, but she did not like it when Xiaochen lied to her. She felt that it was wrong to lie to a couple. Chapter 477. "Yes, but that's just a legend," Hongzhu said. The two returned to the Shen family and prepared to leave. After Xiaochen left, there was no point for Shen Jingxian to stay. In fact, she didn't like the Shen family's compound very much, because she didn't have much freedom here. As for the school, Shen Jinghao would definitely settle it. It was a piece of cake for the Shen family to apply for a suspension from school. Before they left, they could ignore the others, but Cheng Minjing had to make a call. And Jin Beibei, whom they had just formed an alliance with. "Jingxian, how are you? I was so worried. I didn't dare to call you, because I didn't want to disturb you." "Your grandpa?" Cheng Minjing asked anxiously after receiving the call. "My grandpa is fine. Thanks to White Fox, he came and cured my grandpa's problem. He also solved the crisis of the Shen family and helped my younger brother ascend to the position of the young master." Shen Jingxian said. "Ah, White Fox is so powerful." Cheng Minjing was a little surprised. "It's good that you're fine. When will you come back? Also, where's Xiaochen?" "I might not be able to go back." Shen Jingxian smiled bitterly and said, "Minjing, in the future, we might not be able to see each other often." "Ah, why? Are you going to settle down in Lan City?" Cheng Minjing thought of something. "My father and my younger brother will settle down in Lan City, but I will be apprenticed to a demonic sect, the Heavenly Fox sect. I was chosen by them and became their disciple. It's said that I have a good aptitude and can break through to the martial master realm." Shen Jingxian didn't mention those seductive things. After all, it was not good to say it, especially when it might expose Xiaochen's matter. If that's the case, then congratulations. Although Cheng Minjing felt a little regretful that her best friend left and couldn't stay by her side. But Shen Jingxian went to practice martial arts. When she came back, she would become a top master, and Cheng Minjing would only be happy for her. And Shen Jingxian said, "Minjing, take care. Xiaochen might go back in a few days. I heard that something happened to his family, so it's not good for him to go back. Oh, that's right. I still want to talk to him about this matter. The Xiao family is in trouble, but it's best if he doesn't go. If he goes, he'll only add to the chaos. Now the Sun family has taken over the Xiao family, and Grandpa Xiao is critically ill. The Xiao family doesn't have a backbone, and it's already a mess. I heard that. The Sun family isn't the mastermind, and there are other families behind the scenes. Xiaochen knows what he's doing. Let's leave him alone, Shen Jingxian said. She was not worried at all, because in her opinion, this situation was not a big deal at all. Xiaochen would definitely be able to solve it easily. If he could solve such a big problem for the Shen family, how could the Xiao family handle it? When you arrive at the sect, remember to call me often. Cheng Minjing was actually happy for Shen Jingxian from the bottom of her heart. In fact, for the children of aristocratic families like them, if they could be chosen by those sects, it would be a very fortunate thing. Whether it was for themselves or their families, it would be of great help. Shen Jingxian hung up the phone and called Jean Bebe, but Jean Bebe didn't answer. She didn't take her phone with her. At this moment, she was pulled by Cheng Minjing, who was talking about Shen Jingxian. Jean Bebe was a little surprised. She didn't expect that Shen Jingxian would leave. What's going on? I just cooperated with her to drive Yi Xiaoye away, and she just left? Jean Bebe was so upset. Knowing that there was no turning back, she could only go upstairs and plan to call Shen Jingxian in person to ask what was going on. At the very least, she had to get the money to buy the villa. Shen Jingxian received Jean Bebe's reply very soon, but Jean Bebe obviously knew that she was going to leave. Sister Jingxian, you are not a good friend. We haven't cooperated to drive Yi Xiaoye away. You should leave first. Jean Bebe said reluctantly. Forget it. Yi Xiaoye is actually not a bad person. Shen Jingxian actually didn't want to drive Yi Xiaoye away. That won't do. Cousin Minjing is no match for her. If I go home, Cousin Minjing will be bullied. Jean Bebe said worriedly. Then what do you want to do? Shen Jingxian asked helplessly. I still want to buy a villa. Sister Jingxian, hasn't your brother taken over the position of the young master of the family? Is he rich now? Can you ask him to buy a villa? Jean Bebe asked. Shen Jingxian felt a little dizzy. That's not good, is it? I think it's not right. Well, why not? I think it's good. Jean Bebe said. Sister Jingxian, you know that I'm a person who gets angry easily. If Yi Xiaoye makes me angry, she might spill the beans about your relationship with my cousin-in-law. What should we do then? Shen Jingxian was speechless. Jean Bebe was threatening her. Although she knew that Jean Bebe might be joking, she didn't dare to take the risk. Helplessly, she said, then I'll discuss it with my brother. But he doesn't have time recently. Let's wait until he returns to Songning City. Shen Jingxian thought that she should delay it as long as she could. After a long time, maybe Jean Bebe would forget about it. Therefore, she agreed to it first. All right. Jean Bebe didn't force her anymore. Sister Jingxian, go and practice. When you make some progress, come back and help my cousin-in-law. Shen Jingxian said. Xiaochen sped all the way. His speed was no slower than when he went to Songning City. However, it was daytime, and there were a lot of cars on the highway. His speeding attracted a lot of attention. Many drivers on the highway found it hard to believe their eyes. They felt that a car had swooshed past them and disappeared in the blink of an eye. In Songning City, Xiaochen's car almost rushed into the Xiao family's yard. At the gate of the Xiao family, a disciple of the Sun family was guarding, as if he were a villain who had achieved his goal. Xiaochen had some impression of this person. He should be an important disciple of the Sun family. Previously, Xiaochen felt that the cooperation between the Xiao family and the Sun family was inappropriate. However, he didn't care about it. He didn't care about the Sun family. In his opinion, the Sun family wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. He didn't expect that the Sun clan would really dare to do it. They actually wanted to devour the Xiao clan. So Xiaochen didn't show any mercy. That disciple saw a car trying to drive into the Xiao clan, so he directly waved his hand to stop it. He was sent flying by Xiaochen's car with a bang, and fell on the lawn far away. He twitched twice, and no one knew if he was dead or alive. The car rushed into the Xiao family's yard. Xiao Chun parked his car in the parking space at the gate of his grandfather's house. At this time, several cars were already parked at the gate of his grandfather's villa. Xiao Chun got out of the car and walked directly into the villa. At the gate of the villa, there were obviously disciples of the Sun family guarding it. Just as he was about to question Xiao Chun, he was slapped to the side by Xiao Chun. The disciple howled and immediately attracted the attention of a person not far away. That person quickly turned around and walked over. As a result, Xiao Chun recognized him. Isn't this Xie Chen? Why did he come here? Who's causing trouble at the gate? Jie. When Xie Chen saw the white fox, the arrogant words in his mouth suddenly stopped. He looked at Xiao Chun in shock. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Why is the white fox here? Why did he come to the Xiao family? Xiao Chun was angry when he saw him. Back then, this person had been jumping up and down with an unconvinced look. Then, that day when Xiao Chun rescued Ke Lin from the private room, he happened to see Xie Chen sitting with 2 islanders and Medicine Master Sunday. In that case, the Xiao family was deceived, and the Xie family was involved in it? Thinking of this possibility, Xiao Chen's gaze was a little gloomy. He really didn't expect the Xie family to be involved. The Xie family was a family that Xiao Chun had a good relationship with. They were also the first family that strongly supported Xiao Chun back then. But he didn't expect such a situation to happen. A kick landed on Xie Chen's crotch, causing him to jump up high. Ow 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 ow, he covered his crotch and jumped to the side. Xiao Chun couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him, and directly walked into the villa's living room. At this moment, in the Xiao family's living room, there were already a lot of people gathered. When Xiao Chun walked to the door, he saw his grandfather Xiao Yuanshan lying on a wheelchair, looking dispirited, but his face was filled with unwillingness and indignation. Beside him stood second uncle Xiao Hai with a face full of anger, and beside Xiao Hai stood Xiao Xiao. What surprised Xiao Chun was that Cheng Mingqiang actually didn't come. Such a big thing happened to the Xiao family, but as Xiao Zhao's boyfriend, he actually didn't come. It was really a bit strange. Could it be that Cheng Mingqiang also wanted to see the Xiao family finished? On the other side of Xiao Yuanshan stood the eldest son of the Sun family, Ming Ming. Beside him stood Sun Yoli and Medicine Master Sunday, Xiao Yuanshan. This is a declaration that your Xiao family is willing to give up their place in the 4 great families and transfer all the rights of the Xiao family to the Sun family. Medicine Master Sun held a document, looked at Xiao Yuanshan expressionlessly, and said, "As long as you sign it, then the Xiao family's debt will naturally be transferred to our Sun family. Seeing that we've cooperated for a period of time, our Sun family can help you take on this debt. Don't even think about it." Xiao Hai was so angry that his whole body was trembling. He pointed at Medicine Master Sun with a face full of anger. "So you've already planned this from the start? Seeking refuge with our Xiao family, looking for our Xiao family to cooperate and do business together. I'm afraid that those 2 foreign businessmen were invited by you, right? It was all premeditated, to make our Xiao family suffer losses, right? Xiao Hai, don't slander us. All the cooperation was signed by you. Our Sun family is only the executor, and this time, our Sun family has also lost a lot of money." Ming 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 said coldly. "Our Sun family only came to talk to you because of mutual benefits. As long as you sign it, not only will we give you a sum of money, but we will also take on all of the Xiao family's debt. Otherwise, when the bank comes to collect the money, you will have to sleep on the streets." Chapter 478. Alright Xiao Hai. Xiao Yuanshan opened his eyes and said weakly, "Sign it. Take the money and leave with me. Let's leave this city." Xiao Yuanshan knew his situation best. The poison in his body had already acted up. It was obvious that he didn't have many days left. If he left, the Xiao family would completely collapse. Right now, his old friends at the bank might not have come to collect the debt because of Xiao Yuanshan. But if he left, it would be different. At that time, rather than the Xiao family declining, It would be better to sell it to the Sun family now. That's right, sell it to the Sun family. Previously, when he received this shocking news, he fell sick. Medicine Master Sun came to comfort him and concoct medicine for him. In the end, after taking the medicine, the poison acted up. After that, Medicine Master Sun revealed his true colors and brought the Sun family here to force him to abdicate. Now that he thought about it carefully, Medicine Master Sun must have done something in the dark. There must be a problem with the medicine he concocted for him. Otherwise, the poison wouldn't have acted up so quickly. According to Xiao Yuanshan's previous estimation, he could still hold on for a while. Even if he was angered, it wouldn't be so easy for the poison to act up. At most, he would fall sick from being angry, which was two different concepts from the poison acting up. It seems like Old Man Xiao is a sensible person. Medicine Master Sun said proudly. Xiao Hai, your father already said it. What are you hesitating for? Hurry up and sign it. Xiao Hai was struggling in his heart. To be honest, he also knew that there was no turning back. The two foreign businessmen had already disappeared without a trace. Wanting to find them was undoubtedly a fool's dream. Once the Xiao family was chased for debt, there was only one possibility: bankruptcy. All of the Xiao family's businesses would be taken away, and the Xiao family would become penniless. However, if he agreed to the Sun family's request now, then he could get a sum of money. Although the Xiao family's name would no longer exist, at least he could still be a rich man. He was in a dilemma. The Xiao family was destroyed in his hands. How could he face his father and his missing brother? How could he face Xiao Chun, who was chased out of the family and endured humiliation? What are you thinking about? Sun Yuli urged impatiently. I'm telling you, there won't be another chance like this. Old man, hurry up and let your son sign it, then take the money and leave. Everyone will look good. Xiao Hai, sign it, Xiao Yuanshan urged. He did not know how long he could last. Sigh. Xiao Hai let out a long sigh and took the document. He couldn't be blamed for being stupid. The Sun family's side was too realistic. Especially when the Sun family was in charge of the business, Xiao Hai gradually let down his guard. This time the two island businessmen came here. Although he was very cautious before, and felt that he had to investigate, he did not expect that he would accidentally get to know Xie Chen from the Xie family. The two of them chatted very congenially, and talked about the two island businessmen. Xie Chen said that their Xie family's company also had a lot of business dealings with them. And in private, Xiao Hai, Xie Chen, and the two foreign businessmen had a meal together. Sure enough, Xie Chen and the two of them were very familiar with each other. During the meal, they also talked about a lot of business cooperation. Thus, Xiao Hai really didn't suspect anything. Who knew that the Sun family could actually get help from the Xie family? After all, weren't the Sun and Xie families sworn enemies previously? How did they start to associate with each other? Thus Xiao Hai felt unreconciled. This loss was too unjust. It was really impossible to guard against. From the moment the Sun family sought refuge with them, it was a trap, causing the Xiao family to walk towards the end of the road step by step. All right, I'll sign it. Xiao Hai thought that after signing, he would bring his father to look for Xiao Chun, then leave Songning City and go to another city to make a comeback. Even if he couldn't become an aristocratic family, it shouldn't be a problem to start a small business family. At the very least, the money would be enough for them to live for the rest of their lives. But just as he was about to sign, a voice rang from the door of the meeting room. It's quite lively here? So many people, what are they doing here at the Xiao family? Playing a monkey show? Or are you here to visit Old Man Xiao? Xiao Chen asked indifferently as he walked into the conference hall, under everyone's confused gaze. You, what are you doing here? Medicine Master Sun was scared out of his wits when he saw White Fox. Their Sun family and White Fox could be said to have a grudge. In the end, White Fox showed his prowess at the Righteous and Demonic Summit in Songning City. Medicine Master Sun knew that the Sun family was really thankful that they didn't find trouble with such a ruthless person. It was a miracle that the Sun family could still exist after provoking such a ruthless person. Nothing, Medicine Master Sunday. You're quite good at jumping around, aren't you? Why are you everywhere? Xiao Chen said coldly. It seems that it was a mistake that I didn't destroy the Sun family. What? Rongqin and Rongjin. It was you. Medicine Master Sun immediately reacted after hearing Xiao Chen's words. He looked at Xiao Chen in disbelief. Although Medicine Master Sun didn't think that it was a coincidence, it was really unbelievable that someone could die silently from the wind on a horse. It was actually done by White Fox. That's right, it was me. With Xiao Chen's current strength, he wasn't afraid of exposing this. In his eyes, the Sun family was just a pile of trash that could be destroyed in a matter of minutes. You actually violated the Warrior Guild's rules and attacked us ordinary people for no reason. Sun Yuming pointed at Xiao Chen in exasperation. Oh, then why don't you sue me? Coincidentally, Xiao Ens from the Warrior Guild's law enforcement hall hasn't left yet. Why don't you ask him to arrest me? Xiao Chen looked at Sun Yuming and sneered disdainfully. I attacked you. What can you do? You. Sun Yuming was so shocked that he couldn't speak. He was so angry that his face was twitching. What do you want to say? Say it slowly. Aya, why is your face twitching? Don't tell me you're practicing some evil technique and want to use it on me? Xiao Chen looked at Sun Yuming in a surprised manner. White Fox, even if our Sun family offended you before, we've already retreated. This matter has nothing to do with you. I hope you won't interfere. Although Sun Yuming was trembling with anger, he knew that he couldn't act tough in front of White Fox. If he acted tough, he would die. This guy killed without batting an eyelid. Now he knew that the Sun family was like an ant in White Fox's eyes. White Fox could kill experts like Li Shanying and Leng Youxiang without batting an eyelid. What was the Sun family? Oh. Xiao Chen listened and said faintly, Are you stupid? Huh? Sun Yuming was stunned for a moment, then his face turned red. When Xiao Chen said, Oh, earlier, Sun Yuming thought that Xiao Chen was convinced and was going to give up. However, Xiao Chen's last sentence simply made him seethe with anger. What did he mean by stupid? You don't know how your Sun family died, right? You provoked Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen is my underling, and the Xiao family is Xiao Chen's family. Do you have any logic? And it has nothing to do with me? Do you think it has nothing to do with me? Xiao Chen looked at Sun Yuming mockingly and said, Now, I'll give your Sun family a chance to live. Give me your Sun family's property, and how much money you cheated from the Xiao family. I'll give you an hour. I won't wait after that. I haven't killed for a long time. My hands are a little itchy. Ugh! Sun Yuming suddenly remembered about Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was kicked out of the Xiao family. During this period, he didn't appear in the Xiao family at all. So Sun Yuming naturally ignored Xiao Chen's matter. Now that White Fox mentioned it, he thought of it. His face suddenly became a little pale. He had thought of everything, but he didn't think of White Fox. Also, Xie Chen at the door. Are you trying to run away? Although Xiao Chen was in the house, his divine sense had been paying attention to Xie Chen at the door. Seeing that Xie Chen was about to leave, he said coldly. Xie Chen was shocked, but he saw that White Fox didn't come out. He thought that it was a trick, so he still moved step by step toward the door. In the end, White Fox's voice sounded again. Xie Chen, if you take another step, I'll kill you instantly. Xie Chen really didn't dare to leave this time. His legs were cramping. To be honest, although he hated White Fox and hated him for snatching Shenjing Xian, he also knew that he was not White Fox's opponent. Fighting him would only lead to death. Xie Chen had no choice but to slowly walk back to the living room. He looked at Xiao Chen with an awkward smile and said, I didn't leave. White Fox, I have nothing to do with this matter. I'm just here to help. Stand aside for now. I'll look for you after I deal with the Sun family. Xiao Chen said coldly and ignored him. Instead, he turned to Alchemist's son and said, Alchemist's son, if you want to protect yourself and the Sun family, then do as I say. Obviously, you have the final say in this matter. White Fox, don't be impulsive. I admit that I provoked you at the Warriors Market Square, but I didn't know about you at that time. Our grievances have ended here. Today's matter actually has nothing to do with our Sun family. We are also the victims. If you don't believe me, you can ask Xie Chen. The money was cheated by those two foreign businessmen from Japan. We admit that our Sun family did want to make use of this matter to make up for our losses. However, we did this for the good of the Xiao family. Xiao family can at least become rich if they sign this agreement. But if they don't, then the Xiao family will go bankrupt. Therefore, this is a win-win situation, Alchemist's son explained. Don't give me any reasons. I don't want to hear any reasons. If I say that you colluded with those 2 foreign businessmen, then you did. Xiaochen didn't want to reason with Alchemist Sunday. He said directly, if you don't want to die, then do as I say. Otherwise, your Sun family will be exterminated. Chapter 479. I'm the warrior's market's medicine master. You can't do this to me. Medicine Master Sun struggled and said, I'm protected by the guild. Oh, then I'll let Hongzhu kill you. I'll kill the others. Xiaochen said indifferently. Medicine Master Sun was completely afraid. He naturally knew who Hongzhu was. Even if he didn't know that Hongzhu was a member of the Honging group, he knew that Hongzhu was from the Hong family. The Hong family had the absolute right to speak in the Hong Merchant Association. Don't bother with me. Hurry up and take back the money and property. Just like you said, if you don't, I'll destroy your Sun family. If you take it, you'll still have a way out. It's a win-win situation. Xiaochen said impatiently. I don't have time to waste with you. Hurry up. Yes. Medicine Master Sun's expression changed again and again. He finally said this. He didn't argue and turned to leave. Sun Yuming and Sun Yuli wanted to follow behind, but they were stopped by Xiaochen. What, you want to run away together? You two stay here, and let him go back to report. Xiaochen pointed at Sun Yuming and Sun Yuli. Sun Yuming and Sun Yuli helplessly stopped and came back. They regretted it. Had they been blinded by greed? He wanted to swallow up the Xiao clan. However, even though the Xiao clan was on the decline, Xiaochen had acknowledged someone as his boss. With just a few words from Xiaochen, the situation was completely reversed. Furthermore, the other party did not even try to reason with you, no matter how ingenious and logical your plan was. And you even had Xiechun as a witness. The White Fox did not play his cards according to common sense. The other party was certain that you were the one who did it. Even if you didn't, you still had to admit it if you wanted to live. This was 2F King frustrating, but they didn't dare to say half a word. Xiaohai was already a little dumbfounded. Ever since Xiaochen came in and said those words of support for the Xiao family, he was extremely emotional. He just held on to Xiao Yuanshan's hand. He never thought that the boss that Xiaochen casually recognized would come to the Xiao family to stand up for the Xiao family. If the White Fox supported the Xiao family, what would the Xiao family have to fear? Stabilizing their position as one of the 4 great aristocratic families was no longer a problem. Xiao Xiao was also surprised. Before this, her eyes were filled with despair. She didn't expect that the situation would change. Her beautiful face was filled with excitement. She looked at the White Fox with a strange expression. Xiechun, let's talk about your problem now. After Alchemist's son left, Xiaochen looked at Xiechun and said, call the Xie Emperor and tell him to come and pick them up. Also give me an explanation. What do you think of this matter? How would Xiechun dare to make a phone call? He did all of this behind the Xie family's back. The Xie family didn't even know about it. If he told the Xie Emperor that he worked with the Sun family, wouldn't he be punished and beaten to death? Thinking of this, Xiechun trembled and almost knelt down in front of Xiaochen. White Fox hero, I was wrong. This matter has nothing to do with me. If you don't believe me, you can ask Xiaohai. We only met by chance, and he asked me to verify the identity of those 2 foreign businessmen. Slap. Xiaochen directly slapped Xiechun's face. I call him Uncle Xiao. You call him Xiaohai. Are you trying to say that you're older than me by a generation? Xiechun was about to cry as he covered his red face. Previously, Xiaohai treated him as someone of the same generation, but he got used to it. Now he suffered a calamity. However, how would he dare to explain? He could see that White Fox couldn't explain, and he wouldn't listen to any explanation. Once he decided on something, it was what it was. Don't say those useless things. If you don't want to die, make a phone call. Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Xiao Chen asked coldly, and was about to make a move. Don't. White Fox Hero, I beg you. I'm willing to contribute all of my illegal gains over the years. Please don't tell Xia Huang, cousin. I was wrong. For the sake of Consort Xia, please spare me. Xia Chen begged with tears and snot. Xiao Chen ignored him. If he didn't make the call, then Xiao Chen would make the call himself. He directly dialed Xia Huang's number. Hero White Fox, you're looking for me. Xia Emperor carefully picked up the phone and asked. Ever since White Fox's amazing performance at the Songning Righteous and Demonic Summit, the Xia family had become even more respectful towards White Fox, not daring to show any disrespect. Not only was White Fox powerful, but he also had a wide network. Even Hong Zhu of the Hong Chamber of Commerce had some connections with him. If White Fox wanted to cut off the Xia family's business, it would only take a word from him. Your younger brother Xia Chen is here with me. He colluded with the Sun family and found 2 Japanese to pretend to be foreign businessmen. They cheated the Xiao family. Come and deal with it now, Xiao Chen said straightforwardly. What? He colluded with the Sun family? Cheated the Xiao family? Xia Huang didn't doubt it after hearing it. He was angry now. Was Xia Chen courting death? Colluding with the Sun family was unforgivable. How could he be caught by White Fox? He wanted the Xia family to suffer together with him. I'm at the Xiao family. Come over, Xiao Chen said, and hung up the phone without saying anything else. At this moment, Xia Chen was paralyzed on the ground. His eyes were lifeless. He knew that he was done for. All that was left was endless shock and fear. Soon, Xia Huang arrived in a flying car. Fortunately, he was in Songning City visiting his sister, Xia Fei, so he arrived quickly. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Xia Chen paralyzed on the ground. Without saying a word, he went over and kicked Xia Chen, knocking out a few of his teeth. Xia Chen didn't dare to resist. He lowered his head while trembling. White Fox Hero, I'll take Xia Chen away first. Our Xia family will definitely give you an explanation for this matter. Xia Huang was anxious. Of all people to provoke, why did you have to provoke White Fox? Share a part of the warrior's market business in the future. Xiao Chen said lightly. Half of the profits will be given to the Xiao family. Xia Huang was slightly stunned, but only for a moment. He nodded and said, no problem. Xiao Chen nodded and his anger subsided. It seemed that Xia Huang really didn't know about this matter. Moreover, Xia Huang's respect for him had never changed from beginning to end. He listened to whatever Xiao Chen said. So he said, I will tell Hong Zhu that the supply business of the warrior's market in Lan City will also be given to the Xia family. Xia Huang was surprised and happy. He didn't expect that sharing half of the profits would be exchanged for such a big return. Although in theory, 50% of the profits from the supply of medicinal herbs in 2 warriors' market was almost the same as the total profits of 1 warrior's market. Lan City was much bigger than Songning City. The demand for medicinal herbs in the warrior's market was simply incomparable. It could be said that the demand was twice the size of Songning City. Therefore, Xia Huang handed over half of the profits, which was equivalent to receiving half of the previous profits. Go, give me an explanation for this matter. Xiao Chen waved his hand, indicating that Xia Huang could leave. Xia Huang hurriedly nodded and left the Xiao family with Xia Chen. In this way, only the 2 Sun brothers and the Xiao family were left in the Xiao family's living room. Xiao Chen walked over and knocked the 2 Sun brothers unconscious. He casually ordered 2 disciples of the Xiao family to watch over them, then turned to look at Xiao Yuanshan. Grandpa Xiao, how is your body? Xiao Chen quickly dealt with the crisis of the Xiao family, then looked at Xiao Yuanshan worriedly and asked. Ha 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 ha, Xiao Chen has recognized a good big brother. Xiao Yuanshan laughed loudly. In his laughter, there was peace of mind and joy. I can't do it, but with Hero White Fox's help Xiao Hai, I can rest assured. Let Xiao Chen return to our Xiao family. It's time. It seems that Hero White Fox is sincerely supporting our Xiao family. Uncle Xiao, take Grandpa Xiao to his room. I want to examine and treat him, White Fox said hurriedly. Let's see if there's a way to cure him. Yes. Xiao Hai quickly pushed Xiao Yuanshan's wheelchair out of the living room and into a bedroom in the villa. Hero White Fox, there's actually no need to examine me. Hero White Fox, there's actually no need to check. I've been poisoned, and my problem is very serious. I've seen many medicine masters, but there's no way. You don't have to worry. Thank you for everything you've done for our Xiao family. I'm very grateful. After Xiao Yuanshan entered the room, he said, My only hope is to see Xiao Chun return to the Xiao family and take over the position of young master. Are you willing to help him? Grandpa Xiao, let's not talk about this first. Who is the pharmacist you've seen? Pharmacist's son? Can that guy's words be trusted? Xiao Chun shook his head and said, I'm also a pharmacist. I'm much better than him. Shin Jingshuan's grandfather was also poisoned, but I've already cured him. So you have to have confidence. As for Xiao Chen's problem, we'll talk about it later. All right. Xiao Yuanshan nodded. When he heard Hero White Fox mention Shin Jingxian, Xiao Yuanshan was actually a little puzzled. Didn't Xiao Chen like Shin Jingxian? How did Shin Jingxian become White Fox's girlfriend? Xiao Yuanshan had been paying attention to Hero White Fox's matter. He knew that he shone brilliantly during the Songning Righteous and Demonic Summit, but he didn't expect him to be related to the Xiao family and Xiao Chen. Both of them liked Shin Jingxian. How did it become a boss and a follower relationship? This was really a little strange, but Xiao Yuanshan definitely wouldn't ask this question. However, when Xiao Chen mentioned Shin Jingxian, Xiao Xiao, who was beside him, frowned slightly, as if she didn't like hearing this name. Xiao Chen sat beside Xiao Yuanshan, stretched out his hand to check the pulse on his wrist. After checking, he felt much more relaxed in his heart. There was only one type of poison. If it was only one type, then there wouldn't be any problem. If it was two, then Xiao Chen wouldn't have any problems. He didn't need to care about what the poison was. He just needed to use his all-purpose yuan energy to refine it. He didn't need to waste his brain thinking about the poison's composition and medicinal properties. Chapter 480. His method of detoxification is different from normal apothecaries. He doesn't know what the poison is, but he can also detoxify it. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen immediately started to circulate his mental cultivation method and started to detoxify Xiao Yuanshan. The poison in Xiao Yuanshan's body was mobilized by Xiao Chen and entered his own body. He started to use his yuan qi to refine it. When this poison entered Xiao Chen's body, Xiao Chen realized that something was wrong. This poison can actually suppress one's strength. However, it can only suppress a martial artist's strength. Xiao Chen is not a martial artist, so this poison has no effect on him. He can just directly refine it. Xiao Hai doesn't know what the White Fox is doing, but he doesn't dare to make a sound. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, nervously stood at the side and stared at Xiao Chen and Xiao Yuanshan. As for Xiao Yuanshan, he already knows that the White Fox is helping him detoxify the poison. However, he can't figure out why the White Fox can detoxify the poison out of thin air. What method did he use? Even a devil cultivator has never heard of someone who can directly use devil qi to detoxify poison. Even if he absorbed the poison, isn't he afraid of being poisoned to death? However, Xiao Yuanshan didn't ask too much. He was afraid that if he opened his mouth, he would disturb the White Fox. He could only let it do as it pleases. After a while, about half an hour later, Xiao Chen cleansed the poison in Xiao Yuanshan's body. However, Xiao Yuanshan's body was already very weak from the poison. He needs to recuperate. This is not something that Xiao Chen can do with yuan qi. However, Xiao Chen's medicinal dregs can be used. He can take a bit every day to temper his body and train. He believes that he will quickly return to normal, and his strength will also increase by another level. Alright, there's no problem. Grandpa Xiao, the poison in your body has been detoxified. Don't compare me with those half-baked apothecaries. You should have confidence in me. Xiao Chen stood up and stretched his arms as he said, it's done. Xiao Hai looked at Xiao Chen in shock. His face was filled with disbelief. Xiao Hai, I really feel that there's no problem. Xiao Yuanshan sat up and waved his fists. He felt that his body was extremely relaxed. Thank you, Hero White Fox. Once Xiao Hai saw that his father was really fine, he was extremely excited and immediately knelt down to Xiao Chen. The Xiao family will never forget Hero White Fox's great kindness. Don't. Xiao Chen was shocked and quickly supported Xiao Hai. You are my elder, don't be like this. But Xiao Hai felt that at this moment, he was already unable to use words to thank Xiao Chen for his kindness. No buts. I'll go and see if Apothecary's son is back. Actually, Xiao Chen had been using his divine sense to keep an eye on the outside. Medicine Master's son hadn't returned yet, but he didn't want Xiao Chen to say some words of gratitude and kneel at the slightest provocation. This made Xiao Chen feel very uncomfortable, so it was better for him to leave first. Xiao Chen returned to the living room and found a chair to sit down. He closed his eyes and waited for the Sun family to arrive. In Xiao Yuanshan's room, Xiao Hai still hadn't recovered from his previous excitement. He looked at his father, who seemed to be fine, and felt like he was dreaming. Father, this Hero White Fox is really our Xiao family's great benefactor. I couldn't tell that Xiao Chen had unknowingly grown up. Xiao Yuanshan sighed. I didn't expect that in the end. It was still his friend who saved our Xiao family. Yes, but why isn't Xiao Chen here? Xiao Hai was surprised and suddenly thought of Xiao Chen. Logically speaking, if White Fox was here, why wasn't Xiao Chen here? With Xiao Chen and White Fox's relationship, even if it was the Chung family, they wouldn't dare to say anything, right? Moreover, this time, the Xiao family was completely disappointed in the Chung family. It wasn't that the Xiao family didn't contact the Chung family, but Chung Zhongfan was hesitant, saying that he had to report to Old Master Chung and so on. In any case, he just delayed as long as he could and didn't have any intention of helping the Xiao family. Even Chung Mingxiang, who often came to find Xiao Xiao, didn't come even once. This made the Xiao family really disappointed and almost shed all pretense of cordiality. Maybe it's not good for him to come out. Xiao Yuanshan thought about it and said, after all, his current identity is Minjing's servant. If he rashly returned to the Xiao family, it might affect him. Xiao Hai nodded. However, it was a pity that Xiao Chen didn't come back to see such a great moment for the Xiao family. After waiting for a while, the Sun family didn't come. This made Xiao Chen slightly puzzled. 4 Sun Xiaonong, Sun Yuming and Sun Yuli were his sons. Sun Yukai was just an outsider. Leaving his 2 sons here, did he not want them anymore? In fact, Sun Xiaonong didn't want them anymore. After Sun Yukai returned, he told Sun Xiaonong everything that happened to the Xiao family. Sun Xiaonong was shocked and frowned. He didn't expect that White Fox would intervene. Not only did he intervene, he even gave the Sun family so many difficult conditions. If the Sun family gave all the business to the Xiao family and spit out all the money, what would happen to the Sun family in the future? The Sun family couldn't even be an ordinary family anymore. They could only rely on working outside to make a living. How could Sun Xiaonong, who was originally high up, accept this? Sun Xiaonong, Sun Yukai, and Sun Yumao sat in the Sun family's conference room. Looking at the empty conference room, Sun Xiaonong couldn't help but sigh. Originally, the Sun family was prosperous. Although the second and third generation were fighting for power, at least there were people fighting, right? But now, Sun Xiaonong wanted to choose a person in charge of the Sun family but couldn't. The people were basically all dead. White Fox, this old man hates you. Uncle, what should we do? We can't just hold on like this, right? Yuming and Yoli are still in the Xiao family. Medicine Master's son looked at Sun Xiaonong, who didn't speak for a long time, and couldn't help but remind him. Ai! Sun Xiaonong sighed helplessly and asked, Yumao, how much money does our Sun family have now? How many properties do we have? Including the 300 million we cheated from the Xiao family, we have a total of 500 million. As for properties, in addition to the Sun family's mansion, there are also a few shops. The total value is also about 500 million. Our family now has 1 billion. Sun Yumao said. Let's do it this way. We will return 300 million to the Xiao family. We will give the properties and shops to the Xiao family. We will secretly keep 200 million, and then leave Songning City overnight to develop in other cities. Sun Xiaonong thought for a while and said, "That's fine. But can the Xiao family believe it if it's only 300 million? The money originally belonged to the Xiao family. If we return it, the Xiao family won't think that we don't have a penny, right?" Sun Yukai hesitated for a while and said, in fact, he really didn't want to leave. He now had a position in the warriors' market. If he wanted money, the salary was not low. If he left, he would really be nothing. Even if he relied on a foreign family, his position would certainly not be as good as before. Previously, we said that we relied on the Xiao family because we had nowhere else to go. Now that we say this, the Xiao family might not believe us. Sun Xiaonong said, "All right. Now Yukai, immediately take these land deeds and bank deposits to the Xiao family. Bring Mingming and Yuli back." "Yes." Medicine Master Sun nodded. He took the bank card and land deeds and left the Sun family for the Xiao family. However, halfway there, Alchemist Sun rolled his eyes and hesitated. He had worked hard for the Sun family all these years, not to mention that he had contributed a lot to the Sun family's development. Now that the Sun family was finished, he would be finished along with it. Being forced to leave his hometown meant that his social status would drop all of a sudden. Thinking up to this point, Medicine Master Sun decided not to go to the Xiao family. These land deeds could not be converted into cash, so he casually threw them in the car and went to the bank with his bank card. He quickly opened an account and transferred 300 million yuan over. Then, he abandoned the car and fled. He got on a long-distance bus to Lan City. It was not that he had to go to Lan City. He just saw a bus at random and boarded it without much thought. After getting on the bus, Medicine Master Sun heaved a sigh of relief. Even if he stopped working, this 300 million yuan would be enough for him to spend. Moreover, he still had his alchemy skills. Of course, it was definitely not comparable to before. "White Fox, this is all your fault." After waiting for a long time, Xiaochen finally became a little impatient. He kicked Sun Yukai awake and said, "Son, did your Sun family abandon you? Why hasn't anyone come to give you money after so long? If you don't want to live, then forget it. I'll fulfill your wish." Sun Yukai had just woken up and was at a loss. He looked at Xiaochen in shock. After a long time, he reacted and said, "No, I'll call my father." "Wait, don't kill us." Sun Yukai quickly took out his phone and dialed Sun Xiaonong's number. He said anxiously, "Dad, what's going on? Are you not going to agree to Hero White Fox's request? Yuli and I are here. He wants to kill us." Sun Yukai knew that White Fox really dared to kill them. He was not joking. Sun Yukai didn't go. He has been gone for an hour. He should be here. Sun Xiaonong said curiously, "What? An hour? Then he must be here." It took him at most an hour to drive here. Sun Yukai was also a little puzzled. "Is there a traffic jam on the road?" "I'm not sure. You can contact him. I'll ask him to bring the Sun family's land deeds and savings," Sun Xiaonong said. "It's a blessing that you two can come back safely." "Okay, I'll contact him." Sun Yukai nodded. After hanging up the phone, he quickly dialed Sun Yotsai's number. However, on the other side of the phone, there was a cold female voice. This was the prompt tone of the phone being turned off. This made Sun Yotsai's heart suddenly turn cold. Chapter 481. He had a bad feeling. He quickly called back Sun Xiaonong's phone and said anxiously, "Father, Medicine Master Sun's phone is turned off. Can you check if the deposits are still there?" "What? Turned off?" Sun Xiaonong's heart sank. He quickly logged into the online bank. As a result, he checked and found that all the deposits had been transferred. There was not a penny left. All of a sudden, Sun Xiaonong had a feeling that the sky was dark. Sun Yukai absconded with the money? This was the only possibility. Otherwise, why did he withdraw the money? "Father, what's wrong? Why aren't you talking?" Sun Yuming asked quickly. "It's over. The money is gone. Sun Yukai, the little bastard, took it. There's not a penny left." Sun Xiaonong yelled. "I think he has run away." What should I do?" Sun Yuming suddenly felt sad. Without money, would White Fox let him go? He would vent his anger on him. "Don't worry. I'll ask someone to look for it." After Sun Xiaonong finished speaking, he hung up the phone and arranged people. On the other side, Sun Yuming was holding the phone in a daze. He looked at Xiao Chun and said helplessly, "Hero White Fox, Medicine Master Sun absconded with the money." I absconded? Then let Sun Xiaonong chase after him. Don't worry. Without money and property, you will die miserably. I will kill your father too. Xiao Chun said coldly. However, Xiao Chun secretly admired Medicine Master Sun's decisiveness. He actually turned around and left. What a talent! Soon, there was news from Sun Xiaonong's side. They found Sun Yotsai's car. It was parked in front of the bank and hadn't been moved. There was a title deed inside, but the money was gone. However, without money could White Fox let him go? Sun Xiaonong had no choice. He took out his remaining 200 million yuan and brought the title deed to the Xiao family. Once upon a time, he had fantasized that one day, he would be able to proudly step into this mansion and become the owner of this place. But now, forget about being the owner, he couldn't even be considered a guest. He was just a pitiful worm that had come to redeem someone. Did you catch Medicine Master Sun? Xiao Chun looked at Sun Xiaonong and asked. No, but he threw the title deed in the car. I brought it with me. As for the deposit, Sun Xiaonong lowered his head. Okay, don't talk about these useless things. I don't believe that you gave all the money to Yu Kai. You didn't keep anything for yourself? Why don't I believe it? Xiao Chun waved his hand and said directly, take out the rest of your things. I'll settle the score with Sun Yukai. Yes. Sun Xiaonong's forehead suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. It seemed that White Fox was not stupid. He had already guessed that he had hidden some money. It seemed that the 200 million he had prepared was very useful. He quickly took it out and said, it's not that I didn't want to give you this 200 million, but it's a fixed deposit. If I withdraw it, there will be no interest. I was also afraid of bringing losses to Great Hero White Fox. I was planning to give it to you when it's due, but if you want it now, I'll transfer it to you. Xiao Chun glanced at him indifferently and didn't say anything more. He just said, turn it over. You can write a transfer declaration on the deed of the land, and you can leave with your 2 sons. Remember to keep a low profile in the future. I'm a kind-hearted person. I'll let you go and get a black-bellied one. He'll take your money and then kill you. Yes, yes. Sun Xiaonong nodded repeatedly. He knew that what Xiao Chun said was the truth. Some people were indeed like that. They wanted money, but they also wanted their lives. White Fox was already considered a good person. After writing the statement, Sun Xiaonong took his 2 sons and left the Xiao family with their tails between their legs. Xiao Chun sighed. He had lost 300 million for no reason at all. How unlucky. However, with these industries and 200 million yuan of funds, the Xiao family could be revived and revitalized. Especially with the cooperation with the Xie family, no bank would come to collect the debt. They would try to rope in the Xiao family. After settling the matter with the Xiao family, Xiao Chun knew that it was time for him to leave. Although this was his home, he couldn't stay. He hadn't found the mastermind. Xiao Chun had to be as cautious as ever. Xiao Chun walked to Xiao Yuanshan's room with the land deed and bank card. At this time, Xiao Hai and Xiao Xiao hadn't left yet. They were chatting with Xiao Yuanshan. The whole family was very excited and happy. White Fox, you're back. Xiao Hai saw Xiao Chun and immediately stood up respectfully. The Sun family brought 200 million in cash and the land deed of all their properties. These belonged to the Xiao family. Xiao Chun didn't say anything about Sun Yukai because there was no need. The Xiao family wouldn't be able to do anything if they knew. They really gave us the money? Xiao Hai was stunned. Although the Xiao family was cheated of more than 300 million, in his opinion, it was worth it to get back 200 million and some land deeds. After all, land deeds were worth a lot of money. And the land deeds are here. This is the statement from the Sun family. Also, I asked him to transfer the 200 million to Xiao Chun's bank card. It's here. You can take it out and use it. The password is his birthday. Xiao Chun passed the land deeds, statement and bank card to Xiao Hai. Thank you for your help, White Fox. I know that you won't do it for free. Then, how much of the Xiao family's profit should I give to you? Xiao Hai felt that White Fox wouldn't help for no reason. Now that the Xiao family had a profit, he naturally had to give some of it. After all, this was all White Fox's credit. Uncle Xiao, you think too much. I came here purely to help. I don't want it. You can also take all of the Xie family's profits in the future. I don't want it either. Xiao Chen said solemnly. How can I do that? Xiao Hai was a little stunned. He didn't expect White Fox to be so generous. Why was he so good to the Xiao family? Alright, it's time for me to leave. I'll bring some medicinal herbs for Grandpa Xiao next time. After he consumes them, his body will become better and better. Xiao Chen said, I'll take my leave first today. You're leaving just like that. White Fox, why don't you stay for dinner before leaving? Xiao Hai quickly tried to keep him. No. Xiao Chen waved his hand. Grandpa Xiao, Uncle Xiao, I will leave first. If that's the case, then I will send you off. Xiao Hai said with some regret. Dad, I will send you off. You should hurry up and deal with these land deeds. Xiao Xiao said. It's best to find a lawyer to transfer the ownership as soon as possible. Otherwise, if the Sun family causes some trouble again, it won't be good. This is also good. Xiao Hai was slightly stunned. He didn't understand why Xiao Xiao would take the initiative to send White Fox off, but he still agreed. Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao walked out of Xiao Yuanshan's villa one after another. Outside the villa, looking at the familiar courtyard, Xiao Chen was a little emotional. I don't know when I can return here again. After passing by the small villa that he used to live in, Xiao Chen thought of the days and nights he trained hard every day and night. That was an unforgettable period of time. He thirsted for strength, thirsted for more than 10 years. He didn't expect that when he was about to be disappointed he would obtain it. Life is really wonderful. Sometimes when you are desperately pursuing it, you just don't get it. But when you are about to give up, there is a glimmer of hope. Unknowingly, Xiao Chen slowed down his footsteps. A pair of warm little hands suddenly wrapped around Xiao Chen's waist. Then, Xiao Chen felt a soft body sticking to his back. This made Xiao Chen suddenly shocked. He subconsciously wanted to avoid it. He knew who this was. This was definitely Xiao Xiao without a doubt. He didn't understand why Xiao Xiao would suddenly hug him. Could it be that my performance just now was too domineering, and Xiao Xiao developed a love for me? This made Xiao Chen a little dumbfounded. Perhaps, the Cheng family and Cheng Mingxiang's reaction disappointed Xiao Xiao. Therefore, when she saw him dealing with the Xiao family's affairs, she developed a good impression of him. It was reasonable for a girl of this age to have a good impression of those powerful young talents. However, it wasn't Xiao Xiao's style to be so bold and stick to him. However, just as Xiao Chen wanted to push Xiao Xiao away, Xiao Xiao softly murmured, "Brother." Xiao Chen's entire body stiffened. He widened his eyes in disbelief. Xiao Xiao recognized me? How is this possible? Brother, I'm so happy. It really is you. Xiao Xiao was still muttering to herself. You finally have the ability, and you are so powerful. Xiao Chen this time, he was 100% sure that Xiao Xiao must have recognized him. No wonder Xiao Xiao was so bold and dared to hug him from behind. It turned out that she already knew that he was her brother. However, at this moment, Xiao Chen didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to explain. He was suddenly exposed by the Xiao family. He wasn't mentally prepared yet. Xiao Hai, coming out of Xiao Yuanshan's villa, prepared to find a lawyer to discuss the land deed. However, just as he walked out of the villa, he saw Xiao Xiao hugging White Fox not far away. Xiao Hai was incomparably shocked. He wanted to call out to Xiao Xiao, but he suddenly shut his mouth. Thinking about it, White Fox was a hero. It was normal for girls to admire him. Perhaps, Xiao Xiao knew that the Xiao family didn't need to rely on the Cheng family anymore. So she went to pursue her own happiness? Thinking about it, although White Fox already had a girlfriend, to be honest, he was also a descendant of an aristocratic family. He was more open-minded about this kind of thing. If Xiao Xiao liked him, then he didn't have much of an opinion. After all, White Fox's ability was there. So thinking about this, Xiao Hai didn't disturb her. Instead, he turned around and left quietly, taking a detour to leave. Let's talk in my room. Xiao Chun returned to his original voice and pointed to the side, to his former villa. Let's go to my room. If others see it, they will be suspicious. You don't want others to know your identity, right? Xiao Xiao said considerately. Chapter 482. All right. Xiao Chun nodded. Xiao Xiao's villa was not far away. Xiao Xiao let go of him and went to her villa with him. Brother, why are you so powerful now? When Xiao Xiao entered the villa, she couldn't help but shout excitedly. The white fox is actually you. It's incredible. Xiao Chun took off the white fox mask and nodded. It's me. But Xiao Xiao, how did you find me? I feel that there should be no problem with my disguise. My voice and so on have changed. Some small details, such as the tone of speech, habits, etc., these haven't changed. Xiao Xiao said. Don't forget, we have lived together for so many years. Dad and Grandpa may not have noticed, but I did. Okay, but Xiao Xiao, you have some power. Your brother has power, so you pay attention to me. Previously, you ignored me, and even helped Cheng Meng to bully me. Xiao Chun smiled. Originally, Xiao Chun was just joking, but he didn't expect Xiao Xiao's face to turn cold and become a little ugly. Xiao Xiao, what's wrong with you? Xiao Chun saw Xiao Xiao's face change, and he was suddenly stunned. Nothing. Yes, I am so snobbish. What's wrong? Xiao Xiao snorted and was a little angry. Isn't Xin Jingxian the same? When you pursued her so much, she ignored you. In the end, you became powerful. And she came to you and even begged you to do this and that. When the Xin family has problems, you have to solve it. Why don't you talk to her? Xiao Chun didn't understand why Xiao Xiao suddenly talked about Xin Jingxian. He couldn't help but be dumbfounded. How can this be the same? It is the same, Xiao Xiao said. She is my lover, and you are my sister. She didn't know me before, but you. Xiao Chun said with a bitter face. Forget it. Xiao Xiao shook her head. Come and see me when you have time. I'm tired and need to rest. You can go now. Xiao Chun was a little baffled. Xiao Xiao was still fine earlier and looked very happy. Why did she suddenly become unhappy all of a sudden? However, Xiao Chun really had to go back, so he didn't say anything more. Anyway, he didn't need to be so polite with his sister. He nodded and said, Okay, I'll go first. I'll come and see you next time. Okay. Xiao Xiao nodded. Xiao Chun put on his mask and walked out of Xiao Xiao's villa. He went to the parking lot and drove back to Xiao Xiao's villa. Xiao Xiao stood by the window, and her eyes became a little blurred as she watched Chun of the villa. When they were about to reach the villa, Xiao Chun removed his mask again. He recalled Xiao Xiao's words. She could tell that there was something wrong with him. But what about the others? The eldest miss didn't notice it, but Jean Bebe seemed to be a little suspicious. From the looks of it, he had indeed revealed some flaws when he wasn't paying attention. And because most of the people around him weren't familiar with Xiao Chun, they didn't see the problem. However, those who were familiar with him had a problem. Therefore, Xiao Chun felt that it was necessary for him to be more careful in case someone saw through him. His face could now transform into other forms for a long time. However, there was a limit to how long he could do it, and it would consume his true qi. It would be great if he could have a human skin mask that could change his appearance. However, this was only a legendary item. Xiao Chun had never heard of anyone possessing such a mask. After he returned to the villa, he saw that Cheng Minjing, Jean Bebe, and Yi Xiaoye were eating instant noodles at the dining table. Obviously, since Xiao Chun was not back, they could only have instant noodles. What? Xiao Chun, did you come back by yourself? Cheng Minjing was a little surprised to see Xiao Chun. Xiao family is in trouble. Do you know that? Yes, I know. White Fox went to solve it for me, Xiao Chun said. It's all right now. Oh, it's him. Cheng Minjing nodded. White Fox is loyal to his friends. However, you sent Jingxian back to the Xin family in the middle of the night. It's normal for him to help you. By the way, Jingxian went to a demonic sect called the Heavenly Fox sect to cultivate. Do you know that? Yes. Alas, I didn't expect that my goddess would leave like this. Xiao Chun sighed. How dare you call her goddess? If White Fox heard that, He would not only not help you, but also come to kill you. Cheng Minjing snorted. White Fox is not that boring. Don't think so badly of people. Yi Xiaoya said coldly. I'm talking. What does it have to do with you? Cheng Minjing was a little unhappy. Yi Xiaoya always liked to interrupt and refute her. I'm talking to Xiao Chen. Why do you always like to interrupt? This house is shared by everyone. Why can't we talk? Yi Xiaoya shrugged indifferently. Cousin Minjing, let her be proud for a few days. I think she will cry in a few days. Jean Bebe said proudly. Oh, Cheng Minjing was a little curious as to why Yi Xiaoya would cry, but Jean Bebe obviously had an idea. Yi Xiaoya frowned. Jean Bebe was a smart girl. She had to be careful not to make trouble for her. Suddenly, she thought of the devil's centipede fruit that was missing in the yard. Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chun and said, By the way, Xiao Chun, have you seen my devil's centipede fruit? You lost it, and you are still asking about this and that. Are you done? Jean Bebe said unhappily. I was the one who took this one. Xiao Chun admitted it straightforwardly. White Fox said that he needed the devil's centipede fruit to treat Shin Jingshuan's grandpa. He told me that he saw it in the yard. So, I took it and took it with me. I left in a hurry and didn't tell you. I see. Yi Xiaoya was slightly dazed. She hesitated for a moment and said, All right. But you have to tell me next time. Otherwise, I will think that I lost it. All right. Xiao Chen nodded and said, Is the devil's centipede fruit very precious? Do you want me to compensate you? Forget it. Yi Xiaoya shook her head and went upstairs. White Fox had not asked her for dual training for a few days. Once she tried it, she would not be able to stop. It was like a drug addiction. The feeling of gaining strength quickly made Yi Xiaoya excited and tempted. Although they had to be honest with each other every time, she had gotten used to it after a long time. Xiao Chen sat in Yi Xiaoya's previous seat. Watching the eldest mistress and Jean Bebe eating instant noodles, he said, I'm sorry, Minjing. I was out for something these days, and didn't cook for you. Actually, Yi Xiaoya is right. You don't owe me anything. Cheng Minjing shook her head and said, You used to be my fiancé but not anymore. I don't have the right to ask you to do this or that. It's unfair to you. I didn't pay you to be my servant. Ah! The eldest mistress's words surprised Xiao Chen. He did not expect the eldest mistress to say such things. Actually, he had always been patient with the eldest mistress because the identity of his fiancé in the past did not bring any glory to the eldest mistress. Instead, it was a burden and humiliation. When Xiao Chen was mentioned, everyone would tease her and feel that she had married a good-for-nothing. However, it would be fine if this good-for-nothing liked her and treated her well. But this good-for-nothing just had to like Shin Jingxian and pursue Kerlin. Who would be happy if they were in her shoes? Now that he thought about it, Xiao Chun felt that he only considered himself at the beginning and did not consider Cheng Minjing's feelings. It was really wrong. Now whether he was with Shin Jingxian, Tang Tang, or Lu Shuangshuang, what he brought to them was glory and pride. Thinking about Shin Jingshuan's pride in the Shin family, Tang Tang's respect by Yu Xiaochuan, and Lu Shuangshuang's vanity at the class reunion, what did the eldest mistress get? Therefore, no matter how domineering and unruly the eldest mistress was to him, all he could think of was to make it up to her. To make it up to her as much as possible. Xiao Chen would not have any complaints. This was not meekness, but a kind of compensation as a fiancé. It doesn't matter. I'm willing. Xiao Chen said. I'm sorry, Minjing. In fact, as your fiancé, I didn't care about your feelings and let you be looked down upon by others. It's my fault. So, I'll try my best to make it up to you. Ah. Cheng Minjing looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. She did not expect that he would say these things. She had just said it spontaneously. Minjing, don't worry. As long as you don't drive me away, I'll always stay here, said Xiao Chen. Great, great. Jean Bebe, however, was very happy. Cousin-in-law, are you going to pursue cousin Minjing again, because sister Jingxian is gone, and your dream of being a goddess is broken? Ah! Xiao Chen smiled and did not say anything. I'm going to brew medicine to practice. At night, Xiao Chen, wearing the white fox mask, tiptoed upstairs and came to the door of Yi Xiaoya's room. When he opened the door, Yi Xiaoya sat up on the bed alertly. It turned out that she was not practicing but resting on the bed. "Who's there?" "It's me, the white fox," said Xiao Chun. "You're here." Yi Xiaoya saw the white fox and was a little angry. "Where have you been these days? My cultivation progress has slowed down. I've been to the Shun family, haven't I?" Xiao Chun said. "By the way, I've taken one devil grain fruit. There's still one left. Can I take it tomorrow?" Xiao Chun's medicine could only be brewed once more today. He could not use it tomorrow. Therefore, he needed one more devil grain fruit tomorrow, which could only be found in Yi Xiaoya's yard. "No." Yi Xiaoya shook her head decisively. "I have a great use for it." "What use do you have?" Xiao Chun was slightly stunned. "When I'm injured, I eat one. It can reduce the pain. Otherwise, I might not be able to survive." Yi Xiaoya said. "If you take it to treat Shen Jingshuan's grandfather, it should have the same effect, right?" Chapter 483. More or less. Did you only plant 2 stalks of devil centipede fruit? Is there nothing else? Xiao Chun said, unwilling to give up. "And just 2 stalks." Yi Xiaoya said. "What do you want it for?" "I need this herb to concoct some potions to level up." Xiao Chun said. "But if it's useful to you, then forget it. It's already early winter. If I plant it again, it definitely won't be able to survive. Although I still have seeds, I have to wait until next year." Yi Xiaoya said. "And after the devil centipede fruit is picked, if it isn't used as medicine within 24 hours, it will lose its effects. You should know this, so it's basically impossible to buy. The sects that need it will plant it themselves." You still have seeds." Xiao Chun was stunned. "Then give me some seeds. I'll find someone to plant it." "You find someone to plant it? Do you know someone who can plant this kind of seed in this season?" Yi Xiaoya was somewhat puzzled. "Don't tell me to plant it in a greenhouse. That won't work. Don't you know why the devil centipede fruit is called devil centipede fruit? Yang means that it emits sunlight. In other words, it needs direct sunlight to grow. If it's kept in a greenhouse, it won't work." "It's fine. I can plant it in your flower bed." Xiao Chun said. "And you know the person who can plant it? He's my little brother, Xiao Chun." Xiao Chun found an excuse for himself. Because of his white fox identity, it wasn't good for him to plant it in the courtyard. If he planted the devil centipede fruit, he would inevitably come to take care of it. However, if Cheng Minjing found out, it would be hard to explain. It was better to say that Xiao Chun knew how to plant it. This way, Yi Xiaoya and Cheng Minjing wouldn't be suspicious. "Xiao Chun? He knows how to plant the devil centipede fruit? Really?" Yi Xiaoya was somewhat shocked. Xiao Chun knew how to plant herbs? How could she not know? You should know that he can't cultivate to become a martial artist because of his physique. Therefore, he has been searching for medicinal herbs that can change his physique since he was young. He has a deep understanding of medicinal herbs, and some medicinal herbs can't be bought. He can only get seeds, so he planted and cultivated them himself. That's how he learned the ability to cultivate medicinal herbs. Xiao Chun spouted nonsense. If that's the case, Yi Xiaoya felt that it made sense. She nodded. "Okay, then I will give you 2 seeds. Let him try planting them. Although they are seeds, the price is not low." "Okay." Xiao Chun happily agreed. "Then hurry up and take off your clothes. I can't wait." Yi Xiaoya looked at Xiao Chun and said anxiously. "Okay." Xiao Chun felt that Yi Xiaoya was like a female pervert. After a night of silence, Xiao Chun found that although the speed of dual cultivation with Yi Xiaoya was fast, it wasn't as fast as Lu Shuangshuang. But, since Lu Shuangshuang had the physique of a human cauldron, would it be the same as Shen Jingxian? If he used it too many times, would his yin yuan be sucked dry and he would die? Thinking of this, Xiao Chun couldn't help but ask Elder Heaven Ancestor. "Elder Heaven Ancestor, Lu Shuangshuang's physique is different from Shen Jingshuan's, right? She won't have a problem, right? Also, why didn't you tell me about Shen Jingshuan's special physique?" "I wanted to stop you, but you told me to mind my own business, and let me rest for a while. Elder Heaven Ancestor said innocently. But this is a matter of life and death. What if Jingshuan's life is in danger? Xiaochen said anxiously. Don't worry with me here, how could she die? Elder Heaven Ancestor said. In the end, she will be fine. At most, her physique will be destroyed. Xiaochen wanted to say that since it was so good, he should ask Shen Jingxian to come back and stop cultivating. But after hearing Elder Heaven Ancestor's last sentence, he gave up. Shen Jingshuan's physique had its advantages and disadvantages. Her cultivation speed would be very fast. When she becomes a martial master, even if her appearance wouldn't stay forever, her aging would slow down. This was a good thing for both Xiaochen and Shen Jingxian. Otherwise, in just a few decades, Shen Jingshuan's youth would be gone. Moreover, Xiaochen still wanted to cultivate with her. She would become an ordinary person without a physique, which was not what Xiaochen wanted to see. Early in the morning, Xiaochen used his original appearance to plant the devil's spear fruit in the flower garden. Most of these special herbs could resist the cold in winter, but that was after they grew up. If they hadn't germinated yet, it was absolutely impossible to germinate in winter. But Xiaochen didn't worry about this. He planted 2 devil spear fruit seeds in an open space in the flower garden, and began to stimulate the vitality of the devil spear fruit. Yi Xiaoya also woke up very early. After she finished dual cultivating with the white fox, she consolidated her strength. Then, she came to the flower garden to start watering her herbs. Then she saw Xiaochen. She never expected that Xiaochen would really wake up early to plant the devil spear fruit for the white fox. The relationship between the two of them was really good. Yi Xiaoya also found it a little strange. In the past, Xiaochen was said to be very infatuated with Shen Jingxian. Why was his relationship with the white fox so good now that Shen Jingxian was with the white fox? Good morning, Xiaochen. Are you planting the devil spear fruit? Yi Xiaoya asked. Yes. Xiaochen nodded. If you need any medicinal herbs, you can find me to help you grow them. My skills are better than yours. Oh, Yi Xiaoya was taken aback. She thought to herself that Xiaochen was really not modest at all. However, these herbs of hers basically had a low survival rate. Not to mention planting them in winter. Even if they were planted in spring or summer, it would not be easy for them to germinate. The chances were only half and half. Why? You don't believe me? Xiaochen smiled slightly. A little. I've never heard of anyone who can plant these herbs in winter. Even the Myriad Herbs Gate can't do it, Yi Xiaoya said. Myriad Herbs Gate? Xiaochen was taken aback. Yes, it's a sect that specializes in growing and selling medicinal herbs. However, they mainly sell seeds and finished medicinal herbs. They basically don't sell them at retail. They sell them wholesale to large organizations like the Hong Chamber of Commerce, Yi Xiaoya said. I see. Then this sect seems to be making a lot of money. Xiaochen asked. Of course. However, there are some precious medicinal herbs that are out of season. If they can be cultivated, the price will be even higher. After all, many medicinal herbs can't be stored for a long time. The devil spear fruit has a short lifespan, but some of them can't grow much longer. They only have a few months' worth of medicinal effects. This way, the out-of-season medicinal herbs are especially valuable. Yi Xiaoya said. If they could cultivate them, they would have done so long ago. Half of these medicinal herbs have to be plucked before it snows. They can't withstand the cold. The devil spear fruit is one of them. Oh, how much can the out-of-season medicinal herbs be sold for? Xiaochen asked casually. 10 to 20 times the normal price. If it's some special ones, such as the devil spear fruit, it can be sold for 50 times the normal price. People might still want them. Yi Xiaoya said. The problem is they don't have them. There's no market for them. I see. Xiaochen nodded. After transferring his primordial qi to the seeds of the devil spear fruit, he prepared to go to school. Then I'll go to school first. I've made breakfast. I've saved one for you. Okay, thank you. Yi Xiaoya nodded. However, she didn't expect that Xiaochen could successfully cultivate the spiritual herbs. The 2 seeds weren't very expensive. Even if he failed, she could afford it. After the young mistress and Jean Beibei had breakfast, Xiaochen drove them to number 2 high school. At the entrance of number 2 high school, Xiao Chen was surprised to see Xiao Xiao. Cheng Mingqiang followed behind her and seemed to be explaining something. However, Xiao Xiao didn't seem to be listening. She walked in front and ignored him. When she saw Xiao Chen getting out of the car, she was slightly stunned. However, she ignored him and continued walking forward quickly. This stunned Xiao Chen. Logically speaking, Xiao Xiao should have recognized him yesterday and knew that he was the white fox. Why did she ignore him? In the past he felt embarrassed. But now, looking at Xiao Xiao's back and Cheng Mengqiang behind her, Xiao Chen seemed to think of something. However, he wasn't sure. When he arrived at the classroom, Song Huawu was already there. She was reading a book in her seat. This made Xiao Chen a little puzzled. Was Song Huawu really here to study? When she saw Xiao Chen, Song Huawu put her book aside and was a little surprised. You're back so soon. There's nothing else over there, so I came back. Right, what happened to Zheng Jiba? Asked Xiao Chen. He was arrested. Naturally, he will be punished. Song Huawu said. I don't know the details. I'm only responsible for arresting people. Someone else will do the investigation. Is there anything strange about that Qiaoen's? Asked Xiao Chen. Yes, he went to find Yang Jiannan. I don't know what he said, but it definitely wasn't anything good. It should be something bad about you. Song Huawu said. In short, be careful. Yang Jiannan wants to deal with you. He hasn't given up. What a troublesome guy. Xiao Chen frowned slightly and said. Right, what is Yang Jiannan's strength? You want to have a conflict with him? Forget it. On the one hand, his identity is there. You are in the wrong no matter what. Song Huawu said. The crime of attacking a public official of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is very serious for a martial artist. Moreover, his strength isn't low. As far as I know, he should be above the 10th level of inner force. As for how much, I don't know. So strong. Xiao Chen really didn't expect Yang Jiannan's strength to be so high. But he could really endure it. He didn't use force against him. Obviously, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau must have a rule that they couldn't attack ordinary people. Yes, so I advise you not to go against him. Avoid him. Anyway, I'll leave when I'm done here. Song Huawu said. When I'm gone, he will forget about you. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. If this Yang Tan didn't provoke him, he wouldn't do anything to him. It would be like this. However, Yang Tan's strength really made Xiao Chen a little afraid. In the first class, the homeroom teacher, Miss Wang, walked into the classroom and announced the news of the basketball match. After an agreement with number 1 middle school, it was scheduled to be held tomorrow at noon in the stadium of number 1 middle school. Chapter 484. In the class, the selected team members were Xiao Chen, Ma Gangmen, Zheng Xiaoquan, Xia Shibin, and Yang Tan. Unexpectedly, all 5 of them were from Class 1. It was a miracle for Class 1, which was not good at sports in the past. Although Yang Tan's playing skills weren't that great, the PE teacher really couldn't find anyone who played better than him. From the PE teacher's point of view, this time the 5 of them were on the same team. Yang Tan couldn't possibly scheme against Xiao Chen anymore. His methods should be used on the opponent, and these methods were sometimes very effective. This time, the PE teacher obviously hoped that number 2 high school could get a good result. In previous years, number 1 high school had the upper hand in every competition, but this time, they should be able to turn the situation around. Because all the players from number 2 high school were from Class 1, number 2 high school decided that only the students from Class 1 would go to number 1 high school. The other students could participate voluntarily. Anyway, after class at noon tomorrow, there would be 2 tourist buses parked at the school gate. The students who wanted to go could get on them voluntarily. One bus was prepared for Class 1, and the other bus would be taken randomly. Thinking about it, his last basketball game in number 1 high school was actually played in front of Shen Jingxian. However, he was tricked by Chen Jinpeng, which made him lose face in front of Goddess Shen. This time, Xiao Chen wanted to play in front of Shen Jingxian. However, she was gone. Sometimes life was really strange. Although Xiao Chen didn't need to show anything in front of Shen Jingxian, it was also an obsession that he didn't complete in the past. When he got home in the evening, Xiao Chen's devil scorpion fruit had not grown yet. However, because he urgently needed medicinal materials to make medicine, Xiao Chen could only steal Yi Xiaoya's last devil scorpion fruit. Anyway, Xiao Chen was confident that his devil scorpion fruit would grow, so he didn't tell Yi Xiaoya. After boiling the medicinal materials, Xiao Chen began to cook dinner for Cheng Minjing, Jin Beibei, and Yi Xiaoya. After dinner, Yi Xiaoya subconsciously went to the yard to check her medicinal materials. However, she found that the devil grain fruit was lost again. She was instantly shocked. "Xiao Chen, did you see my devil scorpion fruit?" Yi Xiaoya exclaimed. It was taken away by Hero White Fox." Xiao Chen said, "He needs it urgently. I'll compensate you when my devil centipede fruit grows." Yi Xiaoya was very angry, but she also knew that it was Arctic Fox who did it. It had nothing to do with Xiao Chen. She couldn't vent her anger on Xiao Chen. She could only helplessly turn around and go upstairs. Xiao Chen looked at her angry look and thought, "This Yi Xiaoya wouldn't wait for me to find her in the middle of the night and then kick me to death, right?" On second thought, it was possible. "I'll go back to my room first," said Xiao Chen. Yi Xiaoya stamped her feet in anger, but there was nothing she could do. It was useless to blame Xiao Chen. It was Arctic Fox who took them away. Xiao Chen was at most an accomplice. Jin Beibei was very happy to see Yi Xiaoya's frustrated look. It would be best if he stole all her medicinal materials and left none for her. At night, when Xiao Chen went to find Yi Xiaoya for dual cultivation, he got what he wanted. Yi Xiaoya took advantage of him taking off his clothes and was kicked in the chest by Yi Xiaoya. Then, Xiao Chen saw something he shouldn't have seen. Stunned, he was hit and fell to the ground. Otherwise, Xiao Chen wouldn't have been hit so easily. He even suspected that Yi Xiaoya did it on purpose to distract him. But thinking about it, it was his special ability to see in the dark, and Yi Xiaoya didn't know about it. However, Yi Xiaoya didn't mention the devil scorpion fruit again. Since it had been plucked, it was useless to mention it again. After a quiet night, Xiao Chen left early and resumed his original identity. In the flower bed in the courtyard, he channeled vital energy into the seeds of the devil scorpion fruit. However, to Xiao Chen's surprise, the devil scorpion fruit had already sprouted and burst out of the soil. This speed made Xiao Chen happy. It seemed that using vital energy to accelerate the ripening was very feasible. If he could make it in time, these 2 devil scorpion fruits would be enough for him to use. While Xiao Chen was feeling happy, Yi Xiaoya also came down. She had finished dual cultivation with Arctic Fox and was in high spirits. She couldn't sleep anymore, so she came down. When she saw Xiao Chen, she couldn't help but say, "You're really up early." "Yeah." Xiao Chen nodded. "I'm done. You can continue." "Oh." Yi Xiaoya nodded. But when her gaze swept across the devil scorpion fruit in the flower bed, she was immediately surprised. "Your devil scorpion fruit actually sprouted? How is that possible?" "Why not? I already said that I'm good at cultivating medicinal herbs, but you didn't believe me." Xiao Chen was a little speechless. "Now you believe me." "I believe." Although Yi Xiaoya still didn't believe it, the facts were in front of her. She couldn't help but believe it. She looked at the devil scorpion fruit seedling in the flower bed. After looking at it for a long time, she finally confirmed that it was the devil scorpion fruit. She sighed and said, "It seems to be true. But how did you do it? You can't learn this. What do you want to cultivate? Let me help you." Xiao Chen said, "Some things can only be understood and not explained." "Okay." Yi Xiaoya nodded. In fact, what Xiao Chen said was right. These things were similar to cultivation. The same mantra was given to you, but everyone's strength was different. It couldn't be solved with just words. "Can you help me plant some bitter fruit?" "I'm almost finished, but it's winter now. I can't plant them myself. If I were to buy them, the price would be too expensive." "Okay." Xiao Chen nodded without hesitation. Once upon a time, the bitter fruit was something that he yearned for. Buying one bitter fruit cost him everything. He didn't expect that Yi Xiaoya had seeds. If he knew that he was so familiar with Yi Xiaoya, he would have asked her for it. Okay, I'll get the seeds for you. Yi Xiaoya returned to the villa happily. After a while, she brought some bitter fruit seeds to Xiaochen. They're here. How many can you plant at one time? You can plant as many as you want, Xiaochen said indifferently. The vitality needed to mature a seed was just a drop in the bucket. These medicinal herbs didn't need much spiritual energy, so Xiaochen didn't care too much. Is all of these okay? Asked Yi Xiaoya. Yes. Xiaochen nodded. He dug a few holes and threw the seeds of the bitter fruit into them. Then, he covered them with soil with his hands and injected vitality into the seeds of the bitter fruit. However, Yi Xiaoya was a little speechless. Xiaochen, how can you plant medicinal herbs like this? The direction and position of the seeds, the spacing, and the depth of the soil have precise numbers. How can you plant them randomly? How can they germinate? Do you know how to plant spiritual herbs or not? Of course, this is how I plant them. You just have to look at the results. Xiaochen was too lazy to do those things. Those could only increase the probability of the seeds germinating and breaking out of the soil. But now, with Xiaochen's input of vitality, these seeds would break out of the soil no matter what. After it was done, Xiaochen said, Okay, I'm going to school. You can continue on your own. In fact, sometimes it's not a good thing to be too careful. Your medicinal herbs are too fragile, so it's easy for them to die. Yi Xiaoya was a little speechless. She heard that raising pets was like this, but she had never heard that planting plants was like this. Today was the day of the basketball game between number 1 middle school and number 2 middle school. At noon, Xiaochen and his classmates got on the first bus. In fact, Xiaochen played this basketball game mainly to target Chen Jinping. But Chen Jinping was already dead. The person he wanted to beat the most was Shen Jingxian. But Shen Jingxian had already left. Therefore, this basketball game made Xiaochen a little sad. Although it was true that you had to get up from where you fell, who was he playing basketball for? Suddenly, Xiaochen's gaze fell on Cheng Minjing, who was not far away. He suddenly realized something. Yes, why did I think so much? In fact, the person I should show the most to is the Missy. She was my fiancée once. Now that he thought about it carefully, although Cheng Minjing didn't like him in number 1 middle school, she would come to watch every basketball game. Even if she didn't say a word, she would still watch from the beginning to the end. Previously, Xiaochen didn't know who she was looking at, but now that he thought about it, the Missy should be looking at him. She was a kind and conservative girl. Since she was engaged to him, perhaps she had always been paying attention to him. Although she didn't express it, it was the truth. Thinking of this, Xiaochen felt a little sad. He had hurt her again and again. Thinking about it, when he was pursuing Ke Lin and Shen Jingxian, how could she not be able to lift her head? Even so, she still had to pretend that she didn't care. Even Xiaochen felt that he was a little too much. Cousin Menjing, was your husband also this good at basketball in the past? Jean Bebe asked. She was a little uncertain now. When did Xiaochen become so strong? Why did others call him a good-for-nothing when he was so good? If he was good in the past, why didn't he show it? If he wasn't good in the past, then when he was just kicked out of the Xiao family and moved into the villa, she already noticed that he was different, right? He was very good in number 1 middle school. Cheng Minjing said. However, in the last game, Chen Jinping betrayed him and used some dishonorable means, so he lost. Huh? Cousin Menjing, you pay a lot of attention to my cousin-in-law? Jean Bebe asked as if she had discovered something. Not really. I was just bored and watched the game with Jingxian. Cheng Minjing said. He wanted to show off to Jingxian, so I satisfied him. Anyway, I don't like him. Oh, what about now? Jean Bebe asked. What now? Cheng Minjing was stunned. Chapter 485. Do you like him now? Jean Bebe asked with a smile. Bebe, can you not ask such a boring question? Cheng Minjing said impatiently. The basketball game between number 1 middle school and number 2 middle school was an important activity of the two schools every year. It was only held in the third year of high school, so Xiao Chun had never participated in it before. Song Huawu was sitting next to him. Xiao Chun did not expect that she would sit next to him in the car, even though they were deskmates in the classroom. This made him a little speechless. Wasn't she trying to attract hatred for him? Xiao Chun knew that Yang Tan was very unhappy when he saw his expression. However, he did not care. If it were not for Yang Tan's identity, Xiao Chun would have beaten him up long ago. How is it? Do you feel like you have returned to number 1 middle school with glory and glory? Song Huawu looked at Xiao Chun and asked teasingly, "Don't joke with me. How can it be considered as returning to my hometown? I don't have any achievements," Xiao Chun said with a wry smile. However, when he returned to the Xiao family that day, he had a similar feeling. However, he could not reveal his identity, which made him feel a little regretful. Thinking about it, his grandfather would almost recover tonight and could officially take the medicine. Therefore, Xiao Chun planned to go back and get some medicine dregs for his grandfather after the basketball game. The car soon arrived at the sports field of number 1 middle school. Xiao Chun got off the car with the other students. After a short break, the basketball players went to change their jerseys and get ready for the game. Xiao Chun glanced at the players of number 1 middle school. He knew most of them. There were Chao Yuliang and Du Xiaonan, both of whom did not get along well with him. Du Xiaonan liked Kerlin, so he was full of hostility towards the former Xiao Chun. However, most of the time, he dared not say anything even though he was angry. He only cooperated with Chao Yuliang to deal with him in the basketball game. Among the remaining 3 players, one was Lu Mingquan, who cooperated with Chen Jinpeng to accuse him of fixing the game. The other was Chen Yenzong, whom he was not familiar with. Xiao Chun did not know the last one. It seemed that he had never seen him before. Was he a new transfer? Judging from his domineering appearance, he did not look like someone easy to get along with, which made Xiao Chun more vigilant. Chao Yuliang also saw Xiao Chun and hesitated. He had talked to Xiao Chun before, but Xiao Chun asked him to play normally and did not ask him to cheat. Therefore, Chao Yuliang did not approach him. However, Du Xiaonan was very arrogant after seeing him. He rushed over and pointed at Xiao Chun. "Du Xiao Chun, so you dare to come? Xiao Chun, aren't you afraid of being beaten to a pulp again?" Xiao Chun glanced at him. This fellow was just a pitiful worm, trying to curry favor with Lin Kuer. It was just that Lin Kuer did not fancy him at all. In the past, Xiao Chun was unwilling to talk to him. Now, Xiao Chun was even more lazy to talk to him. He did not even answer. However, Xiao Chun's indifference made Du Xiaonan even angrier. Although Xiao Chun was a good-for-nothing before, he was still the young master of the Xiao family. He did not dare to provoke him. Now Xiao Chun was a piece of trash who was chased out of the family. Du Xiaochun dared to provoke him because of this. Therefore he was furious. If he was not afraid of the PE teacher's interference, he would have resisted the urge to beat Xiao Chun. He sneered and said, "You think it'll be fine if you don't talk? In a while, I will let you see who is the master of this court. If you lose, don't bother Kerlin in the future." "Idiot." Xiao Chun glanced at him and mouthed, but there was no sound. You're good." Du Xiaonan was unbearably angry, but he could do nothing. The basketball match was about to start, so he could only turn around and go back. "You know him?" After Du Xiaonan went back, the young man that Xiao Chun did not know spoke. "Yes, Brother Han. He used to pursue Kerlin, but Kerlin did not like him. However, he used his identity as the young master of the Xiao family to pester Kerlin. I did not expect that after being chased out of the Xiao family, he still has the face to come back to play basketball." Du Xiaonan said respectfully to the young man. And Xiao Chun's guess was not wrong. This young man was the transfer student who had just transferred to Du Xiaonan's class. He did not know if he had any background, but his strength was not weak. On the first day, he had a conflict with the school bully Chao Yuliang. He slapped Chao Yuliang and sent him flying. He spun in the air before landing on the ground. This made Du Xiaonan extremely surprised, and he quickly ran over to acknowledge him as his boss. "Everyone is a good basketball player, so I will not say much about the rules. Please play this friendly match with the mentality of friendship first and competition second. At this time, the PE teacher stood in the middle of the court and used the microphone to speak through the school broadcast. Attention students on the field, the basketball match is about to begin. Please retreat to the outside of the court and do not affect the normal progress of the basketball match. After hearing the broadcast, the surrounding students all retreated to the outside of the basketball court. Meanwhile, Xiao Chun and the others stood up and began to warm up. At exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, with the whistle of the referee on the court, the friendly match officially began. At the center line of the court, Du Xiaonan jumped high and hit the basketball into Brother Han's hands. His task was considered completed. Obviously, the people from No. 1 middle school had discussed that whoever had the ball would try to give it to Brother Han. Just like the people from number 2 middle school, they had also agreed in advance that if they had the ball, they would try to give it to Xiao Chun. After Brother Han got the ball, he immediately dodged and bypassed all the students from number 2 middle school, who rushed up to grab the ball. He dribbled the ball so skillfully that he almost looked like a professional basketball player. Xiao Chun did not act rashly. Instead, he kept observing Brother Han. If his guess was right, Brother Han should be a martial artist. He could tell from the inner force that he inadvertently revealed. Although he did not use his inner force, Xiao Chun's current divine sense was very sensitive. If an ordinary martial artist did not deliberately hide it, even if he did not use his inner force, he would still be able to inadvertently reveal some of it. Come on, come on! The cheers outside the basketball court were obviously for Brother Han. He was a very popular person. At this moment, Kerlin was mixed in the crowd and watching the game on the court. She did not know who she was here to watch, but she was sure that it was not Brother Han. She hated Brother Han more than anything else. What surprised Kerlin was that although Du Xiaonan had Brother Han as his boss, Brother Han did one thing in front of her and another behind her back. He clearly knew that Du Xiaonan liked her, but he secretly confessed to her and asked her to be with him. What kind of person was this? He was too dirty. Kerlin did not like him at all. She always felt that he was just pretending to be cool. He was far worse than Xiao Chun. She did not know why she was comparing herself with Xiao Chun. However, when Kerlin saw Xiao Chun in the court, she could not move her eyes away. Did she come to see him? Only Kerlin's eyes were on Xiao Chun. On the side of number 1 middle school, most of the girls were watching Brother Han's cool performance and cheered excitedly at the side. In the midst of the cheers, Brother Han was not in a hurry. He quickly passed people and rushed to the basket at the same time. Swish! Under the basket, Brother Han took off, shot and scored. The whole process was done in one go. Wow! In an instant, the whole court cheered and the applause was thunderous. The audience of number 1 middle school was obviously larger than that of number 2 middle school. They were all shouting and cheering for Brother Han. Martial artist. He was definitely a martial artist. Now, Xiao Chun could be sure that this Brother Han was undoubtedly a martial artist. But it was really strange that there was such a transfer student in number 1 middle school. Brother Han, so handsome. Brother Han, you're too awesome. Brother Han, we love you. Some of the love-struck girls were shouting loudly. Brother Han's gaze swept across the crowd, and his sharp eyes stopped on Lin Kuer. He looked at Lin Kuer and smiled faintly. This woman was his. He, Brother Han, had never failed to get what he fancied. Lin Kuer could feel that this Brother Han was looking at her. However, she was bewildered as to why Brother Han was able to find her in the midst of so many people. This feeling made her feel extremely uncomfortable. In fact, in order to avoid Brother Han's harassment, she deliberately found a place that was not where her classmates were gathered and hid in the corner of the crowd. But she could not escape Brother Han's eyes. Fortunately, Brother Han only took a glance and retracted his gaze. This made Kerlin feel relieved. Maybe she was thinking too much. Brother Han did not actually see her. On the court, Xiao Chun looked at Chao Yuliang. Chao Yuliang shrugged helplessly. He used to be the main force in the basketball match, but now he was completely a foil. He meant to tell Xiao Chun that he could not do anything about this newcomer. At this moment, the members of number 2 middle school were caught off guard. Even Yang Tan and Xia Shibin did not expect that there would be such a fierce person in number 1 middle school. The whole process was done by one person. Of course, if Xiao Chun could see that this brother Han was a martial artist, Yang Tan could naturally see it too. He worked on the front line of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau for many years. He was too familiar with martial artists and inner strength. Brother Han's inadvertent display of inner strength let him know that this person was a martial artist. Thinking of this, Yang Tan was a little angry. F***ck. I haven't even shown my inner strength, and someone else has? Don't you know the rules of the secular world? Yang Tan was playing basketball for Song Huawu to see. He was now on the same team as Xiao Chun, so he was not in the mood to create any obstacles for Xiao Chun. After all, everyone was on the same team. If there was internal strife, it would only be a joke to more people. Therefore, Yang Tan vented his anger on Brother Han. The game continued, but Xiao Chun did not give Brother Han another chance. His teammates from number 2 middle school passed the ball to him, and the ball never left his hand. He directly dribbled the ball and advanced toward the opponent's half-court. Unsurprisingly, Brother Han went to intercept Xiao Chun. In order to show his strength, Yang Tan quickly blocked Brother Han's side. While everyone was unprepared, he threw a punch at Brother Han's lower abdomen. Brother Han's eyes narrowed, and then, seemingly casually stretched out his hand and blocked Yang Tan's fist. Suddenly, Yang Tan's whole body was cold, as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. However, his body could not move, as if he was frozen into an ice cube. He stood there in a daze, unable to do anything, like a silly statue. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.